theme song.
What the fuck is this?
CC here, Chris, Westchester County. CGI bullshit. Bud Light bullshit.
I don't care.
We're all cats, motherfucker.
I'm actually a lizard person.
What rules?
Do not put pee in your nose!
You sons of bitches.
My poop comes out of my butthole.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, okay.
They gotta make it sexy.
Recently, I've been, checking out incest porns.
They gotta make it sexy.
I'd bust my nut in the gym. Do you understand? Metaphorically.
They gotta make it sexy.
If I wash my ass, then it'll taste delicious. And then what's to stop 9/11 Dracula from coming to eat my ass? Ahaha, wink wink. I'm part of the secret organization. I don't want to be living in the year 3000 without a conspiracy theorist to make fun of on a consistent basis. Remember penises? Now we all have robo-genitals. Come on, be a part of the robots with us, okay? Tinfoil Tuesday. This is the Tinfoil Tuesday theme song.
What the fuck is this?
CC here, Chris, Westchester County. CGI bullshit. Bud Light bullshit.
I don't care.
We're all cats, motherfucker.
I'm actually a lizard person.
What rules?
Do not put pee in your nose!
You sons of bitches.
My poop comes out of my butthole.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, okay.
They gotta make it sexy.
Recently, I've been, checking out incest porns.
They gotta make it sexy.
I'd bust my nut in the gym. Do you understand? Metaphorically.
They gotta make it sexy.
If I wash my ass, then it'll taste delicious. And then what's to stop 9/11 Dracula from coming to eat my ass? Ahaha, wink wink. I'm part of the secret organization. I don't want to be living in the year 3000 without a conspiracy theorist to make fun of on a consistent basis. Remember penises? Now we all have robo-genitals. Come on, be a part of the robots with us, okay? Tinfoil Tuesday. This is the Tinfoil Tuesday theme song.
What the fuck is this?
CC here, Chris, Westchester County. CGI bullshit. Bud Light bullshit.
I don't care.
We're all cats, motherfucker.
I'm actually a lizard person.
What rules?
Do not put pee in your nose!
You sons of bitches.
My poop comes out of my butthole.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, okay.
They gotta make it sexy.
Recently, I've been, checking out incest porns.
They gotta make it sexy.
I'd bust my nut in the gym. Do you understand? Metaphorically.
They gotta make it sexy.
If I wash my ass, then it'll taste delicious. And then what's to stop 9/11 Dracula from coming to eat my ass? Ahaha, wink wink. I'm part of the secret organization. I don't want to be living in the year 3000 without a conspiracy theorist to make fun of on a consistent basis. Remember penises? Now we all have robo-genitals. Come on, be a part of the robots with us, okay? Tinfoil Tuesday. This is the Tinfoil Tuesday theme song.
What the fuck is this?
CC here, Chris, Westchester County. CGI bullshit. Bud Light bullshit.
I don't care.
We're all cats, motherfucker.
I'm actually a lizard person.
What rules?
Do not put pee in your nose!
You sons of bitches.
My poop comes out of my butthole.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, okay.
They gotta make it sexy.
Recently, I've been, checking out incest porns.
They gotta make it sexy.
I'd bust my nut in the gym. Do you understand? Metaphorically.
They gotta make it sexy.
If I wash my ass, then it'll taste delicious. And then what's to stop 9/11 Dracula from coming to eat my ass? Ahaha, wink wink. I'm part of the secret organization. I don't want to be living in the year 3000 without a conspiracy theorist to make fun of on a consistent basis. Remember penises? Now we all have robo-genitals. Come on, be a part of the robots with us, okay? Tinfoil Tuesday. This is the Tinfoil Tuesday theme song.
What the fuck is this?
CC here, Chris, Westchester County. CGI bullshit. Bud Light bullshit.
I don't care.
We're all cats, motherfucker.
I'm actually a lizard person.
What rules?
Do not put pee in your nose!
You sons of bitches.
My poop comes out of my butthole.
I can't argue with that. Yeah, okay.
They gotta make it sexy.
Recently, I've been, checking out incest porns.
They gotta make it sexy.
I'd bust my nut in the gym. Do you understand? Metaphorically.
They gotta make it sexy.
If Hello everyone, how is your Friday going? I hope for those of you who this is the end of your work week, I hope your weekend's starting off good. Welcome. Today, since we didn't quite do a full stream on Tuesday, we're going to do Tinfoil Friday as well. No one won bingo, so we're doing bingo today, and you have another chance to win a gift sub. How's it going, everyone? Yes, take your meds if you need to. It's not quite time for mine yet. So anyway, I don't think we have much to get into. Get your cards ready. 1 card per person. If you get just a dog shit card, you can get... I think I've decided you can get 1 free reroll. It's honor system anyway. It's not like I can stop you. I don't see you. But like honor system, if you're trying to be fair, 1 reroll I think is fair of the bingo card. You can only win once a month. And I think that's it. So let's just get into it. I don't even need this background music. We're just going. Also reminder, tomorrow is the patron-only live stream, and I'm sorry, it's Sunday. Sunday is the patron-only live stream, and we're going to be doing Jackbox games. So if you want to come play some games, if Baja's available, she'll hang out and play games too, and it'll be fun. So join the Patreon if you'd like to be a part of that. If you missed me yesterday, I was on YouTube. I do Thursday streams on YouTube now, so I can reach kind of a wider audience on different platforms. And that's all the housekeeping. We're good. Poetic Fox, thanks for 29 months, says, "Hey Hannah, goddamn, I've been watching for a while, and I appreciate it. I appreciate it deeply. Thank you very much for your loyal viewership. And for supporting the channel, of course." So what are we gonna start with? Oh boy. Are any of these even good starting points? A lot of them are just weird. Oh god. Sometimes I'll think like this is a good starting video, you know? But today they're all kind of weird, so I don't know how to ramp up. I didn't think this through. I guess let's just go into it. Let's just go into it. How about this? This one's called The Evil Cycle. Get your bingo cards ready. You're probably gonna fill them today.
You won't believe me, but...
Oh, thank you, Avila 2022. I appreciate you jumping to Twitch to check me out. Thank you.
Satan is the father of all lies, and his most powerful trick is using worldly objects to trap souls and bring them to the dark side.
Using earthly objects to trap souls and bring them to the dark side. I don't even know what that means. Like, I'm gonna get a Funko Pop, and all of a sudden I'm demonic?
For example, he targets the younger generation. Schools are starting to open up after-school Satan clubs all...
Oh, you don't understand. Okay, so the after-school Satanist clubs are a direct response to after-school Christian clubs? It's like a satire thing. It's an oppositional thing to those. They don't literally believe in Satan. The people who literally believe in Satan are Christians, generally, you know? Unstable Deadbeat, thanks for subscribing with Prime. Almost kicking off a hype train.
All over the world. This June, they started education about LGBTQ.
Okay. LGBTQIA+ people exist. Schools are to teach people about the world. Sorry that you didn't learn about things when you were a kid. That doesn't mean kids now shouldn't learn about the world.
And once you...
It's age appropriate, of course.
...start to do this, they don't know any better. This is ingrained into their mind while they're growing up.
It's almost like it's fine and not an evil thing to be queer. Crazy. Crazy thought, I know. Bumble Homestead, thanks for 200 bits. By the way, Satanism, or Satanic, and the gay agenda on the bingo card. 75% to level 1 on the hype train. We're doing tinfoil, so if you do all the foil stuff, we'll do the foil outfit at level 5. You guys know how it works.
In school, I had no idea what this was.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you weren't taught about the world around you and the variety of different people that exist in the world. It doesn't make it evil just because you didn't get taught about it when you were younger. This is the thing we're trying to avoid, is people growing up ignorant of people different than themselves and then turning that ignorance into hate. That's literally the point. Hydrate. Will do.
Honestly, it should be for someone to learn when they're adult.
When am I going to revamp the bingo cards? I'll do it before next Tuesday. I will do it this weekend. If I don't... Oh god, how do I incentivize this for myself or disincentivize? Chat, if I don't don't get the bingo cards done by next Tuesday, then you get a free maid day. Now I have to do it. I have to do it now. We had the same thought, Aries. You're not getting a maid day because I'm going to do it. That's the whole point. The whole point is that I'm disincentivizing myself from procrastinating on it for forever. That's the whole point.
Or have their parents do it on their own. Next is the music industry, and if you've been following me on any type of social media, you know that this one is his favorite.
All music is satanic, 'cause I don't understand anything.
Some say that Satan / Lucifer was...
Some say? Who says this? And why should I believe them? A lot of people are weird and make up things or don't have the closest relationship with reality. So who is saying this? You're saying this, but you want to distance yourself from the claim and make it sound like, ooh, people are saying. It's so disingenuous. It's my least favorite rhetorical tool. Jesus. First name bunch of numbers says, request to make the updated call sheet alphabetical order. I think that would make things easier to find on it. Perhaps.
Was the first musician in heaven in the Bible. So, when he fell from heaven and became the devil...
I don't even necessarily think that's true. Is that Bible canon, or is he dipping into the fan fiction? Is he dipping into, Inferno? Or Paradise Lost?
He used the music industry as his #1 way to get people. I mean, think about an artist, especially in the hip-hop industry. Think of an artist who has...
Sounds like Paradise Lost. Okay, I thought so. The Bible is not, like, specific about Satan in the way that a lot of Christians think. Like, they just culturally think that the Bible says a lot of things about Satan that it just doesn't. It's kind of funny. Unless we screenshot each one and order it ourselves. I'll figure something out. I can probably put all the things on a list and then, like, highlight them and then have them sort in alphabetical order. Figure something out. 87% to level 1 with a minute left. Peacockosaur says, howdy, I've been on Anna Fran ale lately and I'm starting to feel like myself again. I'm just sharing because I'm mega hyped. Cool. Gitara says, I mean, people say that the main man Paul created everything last Tuesday, so it must be true by the standards of people like this.
Never made a song about the devil, selling their soul, women, drugs...
Yes, the Matrix interpreted thing can just be Matrix. Matrix as a thing has become so widespread as a concept. The Matrix... Even now you can just use the Matrix space as that, but it'll also be rectified on the new card to be a little broader. Dave M1, thanks for 1,000 bits. Saving the hype train. Thank you very much.
Drugs, money, violence. And I say hip-hop industry because what do most young adults listen to nowadays? It's hip-hop. Something...
Okay, this just feels racist. Feels like a lot of the... and I understand that, like, there have been other genres in the past that... No, even rock and roll, because it was pioneered by, you know, African Americans. A lot of it's a racist thing. Like, sure, you had stuff where, like, Kiss was being called satanic because they, you know, wore the makeup and did all the stuff. But, like, primarily it feels like a lot of the attacks on popular music with the youths ends up being, I don't like that this is music that has been influenced by black culture in America and my kids are listening to it. It kind of feels like that's the vibe, right? It's just fucking racist. It's really weird. Avant Gardner with 150 bits says, Tinfoil, hip-hop, Satan. 52% to level 2.
To also think about is this. You can't escape music.
I mean, you don't have to seek out things to listen to. You can make your own Spotify playlist, or just don't listen to the radio. I don't know. Like, I don't listen to music that often. Well, I let me put it this way. I listen to music that I have curated on Spotify, but I don't just listen to, like, what's music that's new? It's just not my thing. I'm pretty comfortable with the music I listen to, and I'm fine with it. I don't think I ever hear music that I don't want to unless I'm at a grocery store and they're playing something, and it's always like generic shit from like 20 or 30 years ago, because it's a supermarket. Like, where are you hearing like this new hip-hop in public? Charlie Knight, thanks for 200 bits. Terradona, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 2. Thank you so much, Terradona.
You can try, but you will never fully succeed, and I promise you that. Because music is playing in the car.
Ezekiel 28 and 29 are what gets interpreted as Lucifer having an involvement with music. You hang with Pentecostals. Let's see. Ezekiel 28 and 29. Let me take a look at this. 88% to level 3. Let's see. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, say to the ruler of Tyre, this is what the sovereign Lord says. In the pride of your heart, you say, I am a god. I sit on the throne of a god, but in your heart, in the heart of seas, but you are a mere mortal and not a god, though you think you are as wise as a god. Are you wiser than Daniel? Is no secret hidden from you? But your wisdom and understanding, you have gained wealth for yourself and amassed gold and silver in your treasuries. By your great skill in trading, you have increased your wealth, and because of your wealth, your heart has grown proud. Old enough to know better now with 100 bits says, the radio in his car is just stuck. Dave M1, thanks for 400 more bits. Thank you so much. 10% to level 4. And Xandris with 35 bits says, Happy Tinfoil Day. Have a resub in celebration. Well, thank you very much for continuing your sub. Let's see. Because you think you're wise as a god, I'm going to bring foreigners against you, the most ruthless of nations. They'll draw their swords against your beauty and wisdom and pierce your shining splendor. They will bring you down to the pit, and you will die a violent death in the heart of the seas. Will you then say, I am a god, in the presence of those who kill you? You will be but a mortal, not a god, in the hands of those who slay you. You will die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of the foreigners. That's kind of hardcore. You will die the death of the uncircumcised at the hands of foreigners. Sounds like some sort of like weird metal lyrics that I... Mr. Whiskers, thanks for, thank you for gifting a sub, and Choking Ouroboros, thanks for 24 months. Happy 2nd anniversary. M.H. Darkbeast says, Hey Hannah, speaking of satanic music, have you checked out the Twisted Metal series yet? The show had the best musical torture scene ever. I have not, and I don't want to play this, because I'm sure it's gonna get copyrighted if I do. I recognize him. I think that was Shooter McGavin. Andribla, thanks for 13 months. And I've not seen Twisted Metal. I've heard bad things about it, honestly. Oh, yeah. I was reading the Bible thing. Let me go back. I have spoken, declares the sovereign Lord. The word of the Lord came to me, Does it say any... I'm just gonna, should I control F Satan at this point? Because it's it's 2 chapters of the Bible. Control F, Satan. Satan shows up 0 times. Music? Music. Music shows up 0 times. Instrument? No. I guess I don't get it then. New King James, verse 13. Verse 13. In which chapter? Because there's 2 chapters here. Because in the first one, it's, you were the seal of perfection, full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone adorned you. Turquoise barrels, settings and mountings, made of gold. On the day you were created, you were prepared. You were anointed as a guardian cherub, for so I ordained you, for you are on the holy mount of God. Well, that definitely wouldn't refer to Satan. Is it the next one, maybe? Let me look at the next one. 13. Yet this is what the sovereign Lord says. At the end of 40 years, I'll gather the Egyptians from the nations where they were scattered. I'll bring them back from captivity and return them to Upper Egypt, the land of their ancestry. They will be a lowly kingdom. They will be the lowliest of kingdoms. Yeah, I still don't see anything about it. Maybe it's somewhere. I can't find it. Dave M1, thanks for 1,000 bits. 33% to level 5.
Yeah, you can turn it off, okay? But music is playing at the gym. Music is at the store, any store you go to.
the music, again, I don't know where you live, but the music that plays near me is like the most generic, like, shit ever. Like, it's Phil Collins, and I like Phil Collins, but, you know, it's nothing edgy. It's like basic bitch shit you'd hear, like, on a basic radio station. It's not, like, edgy. It's whatever. Mom rock is a good way to put it. Dave M1, thanks for a whole bunch of bits. Wow, you are just showering me with bits today. Thank you. And Fuzzy Simba says, Hannah, I just saw Barbie. Did you do a full version of the 40-minute with Ben rant? And what day did you view it? It's on a video that's all about Barbie rants. It's a Chud watch. And in the title, it says, like, Chuds are mad about Barbie or something like that. I did a whole stream about it. Lance with 100 bits says, this guy is from the Church of Footloose that banned music.
It's on TV. It's literally everywhere. Mix that in with the frequencies they're using. It can take a physical and emotional toll on you.
There's an obsession with frequencies lately, I've noticed, in conspiracy theories. This has become a thing that's in conjunction to some anti-vax stuff, as well as general woo-woo health stuff. Sometimes I've seen it tied into, like, the idea of 5G towers. Sometimes I've seen it with, like, energy weapons or med beds. It's just a generic thing that gets thrown around a lot. Charlie Knight, thanks for 800 bits, says, I got a promotion and want to buy a house next year. Can I get some Hannah luck for the net house hunt? I'll try. I've only really blessed people for getting a job, but I hope you're able to get that house. I send energy your way. In a frequency of some sort.
It's more than just words, and I wish people would realize that. It goes so much deeper than that. And then you start to mix in their...
You can't go to Tartaria without your magic tuning forks. True. Forrest Espion, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs and getting us over level 5.
The backdrops they use at concerts, it's basically mind control. How about all the news and media outlets, the things that connect us to the world around us? Let's take a look at CNN, Fox, CNBC. Those are the top channels, right? Now let's look at the shareholder list. Vanguard and BlackRock are at the top, and let me tell you something right now. These two companies basically control the world. And you might be saying, all right, whatever, I don't really watch the news or TV. Fine, neither do I. Something I do use all the time is social media, just like most people do. So let's look at the tech companies, all right? The basic ones: Google, Amazon, Facebook, Apple, Microsoft. We can all agree these are the companies that control most of social media. So take a look at this graphic. These are the top 2 companies on the shareholder list. You might be thinking, whatever, it's just...
Yes, rich people control things. This isn't a new thing, and it isn't the thing you think it is either. It's literally just capitalism. It's not a conspiracy. It's just an economic system that incentivizes power concentrating with people who already have power.
Social media, it's an app on my phone. I scroll on for a couple minutes of the day, then I'm done. Well, then let's talk about the most important things. The stuff we are consuming and using around our house on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to have this graphic up, okay? And just pay very close attention to this.
Again, yes, monopolies and, like, companies that have way too much of market share is a thing. This is the inevitable result of an unregulated market, or a very lightly regulated market when it comes to... Sorry. I got some hair caught in the bandana. When you have a market that doesn't really care to break up large corporations that own too much to the point where they themselves are manipulating the market through their very existence. Stromboli says, my father-in-law just got a new job in town today, so now we don't have to move again for me to have childcare, so yay. Oh, that's great. Forrest Espion says, here's a short video of a cryptid and some alien stories. Thank you for the links. Catches us up.
Everything is constructed in a way that when you walk into a big box store like Target, Walmart...
That would be great, Meru-sama. I would love that. Also, maybe it would be cooler than this jacket, because this jacket makes me want to die. In Minecraft. It's a joke. I'm not making any real... You know what I mean. It just gets really sweaty. I might use the vest today, actually. I'll use the vest. Dave, thanks for 300 bits.
Whatever it may be. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of brands, but you zoom out and they're owned by the same handful of companies. For example, a way your mind is tricked is that you need to buy some detergent, right? So maybe Tide is on sale, but Gain isn't. Well, it doesn't matter to them because they're both owned by Procter.
It's the illusion of choice. Again, it's capitalism. This isn't like a conspiracy. It's just the system we live under. If you want that to change, advocate for changing the system. Sorry, Fennikagami. I feel like your bits in particular I miss a lot. I don't know if it's because of the color of your name and my brain just doesn't, like, hone in on it or what. Fennikagami said, speaking of house, I'm in the middle of an appraisal on the house I found. Hopefully everything goes through. Wish me luck on closing. I wish you all of the luck. I know that can be a stressful time when you're just, like, looking at stuff like that and you don't know how it's going to turn out. But I wish the best for you. What is going on with this? It's like all inside out. There we go. Tinfoil vest. Whew. Okay. Charlie Knight, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs. Phi Guru, thanks for 200 bits.
And gamble. You went to the store to buy something because it was on sale and the other one wasn't. Well, you just got lured in and you're feeding the same exact company your money. I mean, they all mass produce these products with ingredients that are toxic for you, and now...
Okay, I get it. I understand that there have been products with unsafe things in them. But, like, generally, no, your laundry detergent's probably fine.
We're gonna get to that part.
51% to level 7.
That are toxic for you. Listen to this. There was a study done that researched the lungs of 6,235 individuals over 20 years. 28
Overthought, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs.
of the top researchers in 9 different countries. This is a very big sample size. The study found that those who clean at home consistently suffered a rapid decline in health compared to those who don't. This is just as toxic for you, the study found, as smoking 20 cigarettes.
Ventilation helps you, people. Ventilate anywhere you're using caustic things. Don't just breathe in shit. Open your windows.
A day. Now, here's my question. It's not like household cleaning products are a new invention. They've been around for God knows how long. And they're made by some of the biggest companies in the world. Surely they know that the ingredients in it are toxic for your health. I mean, it must have been researched for many years and with millions of dollars. But yet they still release it to us. They'll slap on a green label, make a cute...
Okay, first of all, everything is chemicals. You're overstating your, like, hippy-dippy, I'm afraid of things that I don't literally see outside my window bullshit. But, like, if you have a problem with, like, companies releasing things that are potentially dangerous, then that's something that you have against a lack of regulation. You want consumer rights. You want to make sure companies are held responsible if something does go wrong and they do release something dangerous. Again, these are not the issues you're making them out to be. These are issues with how our market works. These are issues with how our economy functions and the priorities of people in charge of it. It's not some conspiracy. It's just literally the set of incentives that we have designed collectively, not even us as individuals, but people generations ago constructed our economy and politics. It's not a conspiracy, it's just bad incentive sets and actors within that system that are selfish and self-interested.
Commercial...
If you have a system that basically rewards greed and rewards people for not giving a shit about others, over time, that system is going to funnel the worst people ever towards the top. Right?
Make it look family friendly and organic. And then, hold on a minute. When we go to get the medicine to fix us, whether it be from their toxic products or the food, that's a whole nother discussion, that's also harmful for us. they're the ones who own the pharmacies and the medicine too. It is such an evil cycle, and I promise you this, now that you're listening, once your eyes are open to this stuff, you cannot ever look at this the same way. And that is the exact reason why I can't shop at these big box stores anymore, and I actually started a movement. It's where you switch away from them and break the cycle they want us to be in. There's a family-owned manufacturer where everything is made in America and with non-toxic.
Jesus, Dave. Dave gifts 2,300 bits. Wow, you really want a level 10, don't you?
Products, which means you'll be supporting American jobs and families. I mean, how much better does that sound rather than feeding the same handful of companies that just...
Man, it's almost like you don't like capitalism, or at least don't like super unregulated laissez-faire capitalism. Fucking crazy.
mass produce their products with chemicals to make money off of us. So if you want to learn more about...
Of course, he's homophobic then, too. Fuck.
about this and join my movement, head to Switch Away.
The right-wing brain rot has successfully stopped him from looking at the real issues by going, blame gays and trans people. Okay, let's take a look at the bingo sheet. We already got a few. We have... only reputable sources, the Bible. I'm gonna say racist disbelief of historical achievements for like the hip-hop thing. Hip-hop wasn't invented by Satan. Dr. Gamble with a link. Hold on, give me a sec. Jules.
The eyewitness account.
What else? Predictive programming, maybe? No, he was talking about music, not shows. Dave with another 2,000 bits, and Morgy Porgy Lemon Pie with 300 bits. We had Gay Agenda, I know that. Thank you for the hype train, everyone. Not quite a level 10, but we still killed it. That was almost a level 8. Mr. Whiskers, thanks for gifting a sub. Okay, let's look at page 2. Jules. We had Satanic. Gay Agenda. Line between Chudwatch and Tinfoil Tuesday. Matrix. Accidentally based for like the large companies being bad stuff. I think that's it. Maybe. Did we have population control? Sure, I guess the satanic stuff was generally control. Control in general, I'm gonna have to reword that one too. I like forced sterilization and like population control in terms of, I think it should be more specific. I think this was the intent anyway, but just because of the way it's worded, I think it would be better to be like, trying to reduce population, something like that. But yeah, I would say so. Spurious symbology is evidence. Was that on page 1, I think? Yeah, like population size control. Where is spurious symbology? There it is. Yeah, that's pretty vague too, but yeah, I'd say so. So he was talking about the upside down crosses, which is funny because that's a Catholic symbol anyway. Is KISS being satanic, thinly veiled anti-Semitism? No, I don't think at the time most people knew that like Gene Simmons was Jewish. Like when that happened. I could be wrong. I don't think that was like a generally known thing necessarily. I think it was more like Christian parents thinking they looked demonic. Time for my meds. Take your meds. If you didn't take your meds, make sure you take them. Now's the time to take your meds. Okay. we're good. Isn't Gene Simmons an asshole or something? Probably. I don't know, though. He at least wasn't an anti-vaxxer, I don't think, even though the other guy... The second most famous guy from KISS, whose name I'm forgetting, I think was an anti-vaxxer. No, he was anti-trans, is what he was. Or anti-drag shows, but it seems like, again, people like that don't know the difference between trans people and drag performers. It's interesting. I thought it was the other guy that was anti-trans. Paul Stanley, I think was his name. I don't know. Anyway. Profane Priestess says he's correctly pointing out that capitalism has trapped us in a neo-aristocracy where wealthy people constantly consolidate power and can use that power to oppress, but someone like Bernie comes along and advocates for breaking monopolies and regulation. These people act like their name is McCarthy. I get it's because their church is engaged in partisanship despite it being illegal, but still weird how people can get close to understanding what the left is saying only to veer at the last moment. I mean, I think there are entire right-wing think tanks that are designed to get this messaging out. I think that's why so many billionaires put so much money into places like PragerU and, you know, the Daily Wire and stuff. It's because it puts out a message that distorts reality for some people and keeps a decent portion of the population from understanding the material shortcomings of their lives are directly the result of not the deep state or whatever bullshit conspiracy they've come up with, but in fact is due to the fact that billionaires and other wealthy people in society are fucking over everyone else for their own benefit. That's a shame that he's transphobic. It's so funny, too. Like, look at how Kiss dressed. And he's like, no, I think trans people are weird. Come on. Come on. Oh, guys, have you ever heard conspiracy ASMR?
The moon is a reflection of Earth. When I sleep, they download mine and their reactions for future use.
Sorry, MH Darkbeast. MH Darkbeast says, what do you mean, Hannah? Satan did invent music to control the masses. Oh god, what was it? There it is. Uh-huh, chick tracked.
They, who, we up there, are trying to crack a code. The moon is a reflection of Earth. That's what's holding up the operation.
Oh yeah, they need a pop filter. Especially if you're going to do an ASMR thing, you need a pop filter because you're going to be really close to the microphone. You want to make sure that your bees aren't popping too much. So you need a pop filter. I'm sorry, I'm done. Hydrate.
They are missing one key hidden ingredient in the human psyche. Our avatars are trying to find it, hidden in the human's brains and DNA. There's a firewall we're trying to crack.
Thank you, Baha. Conspiracy debunking ASMR channel.
Those humans are programs AI is a virus,
What does that even mean?
not intelligence.
Videos, I can just whisper in your ear, Baha. Fuck, Hannah flirts with Baha on the bingo card. Was that intentional? Are you trying to win bingo? Nefarious.
This is a simulation. The moon is a reflection of Earth.
Actually, it's not, though. The moon is a fucking rock in space. It's not a reflection, it's a fucking rock in space, you stupid fuck. I hate you and I hate that I'm doing this. Please. Cease. I'm sorry, Marusama. I am so sorry. Bumble Homestead says, the scientific method is responsible for vast human progress. What in the world? Well, that's that guy. That's fun.
Understand that transgenderism will gateway us into transhumanism.
Transphobia / transvestigation on the bingo card.
Before I start, I'm not here to defame, belittle, demoralize, or bash any group of individuals.
I'm gonna doubt. I'm gonna doubt there. I'm gonna say doubt. I'm gonna say doubt. I'm gonna say doubt.
I'm merely just giving you the facts.
Facts is probably gonna be pretty loose here.
And what you do with that information is entirely up to you.
Make fun of it on the internet for my audiences and my own entertainment as part of my job.
The word Satan comes from the Hebrew word hashatan, which means the opposer. And this correlates...
Yes, because originally in Judaism, Satan isn't like an individual, it is a role, right? Satan as an individual came later with Christianity.
To what I posted.
Because again, these are religions with mythologies that change over time, not literal real things that exist. They're stories.
The other day about humanity being hijacked by an opposing force. These are basically Satanists who literally love to invert everything to minimize the human potential. The highest...
What does that even mean? That was word salad. Word salad on the bingo card. That meant nothing. That was vacuous. He wanted to have a fancy way of saying, I don't like this, and this is bad. But he didn't just want to say that. So.
This form of worship in Luciferianism is the inversion of God's will. Satanism at its roots.
Very few people, believe Satan exists and worships Satan. Gnostics? That's like a Gnostic thing, right? Is thinking that everything's reversed and thinking that God is evil and Satan is good or something. But no, there are not many Satanists or whatever, Luciferian whatever, that actually believe in Satan. The Satanists that I am aware of generally are individuals who use it symbolically but don't believe in Satan literally. Like the Satanic Temple, right? Satanic Temple is a group that is basically doing political advocacy for secularism under the umbrella of Satanism, but not real Satanism, you know? It's making a point.
Is the externalizing of the divine that is within you. We all have masculine and feminine brains called the two hemispheres.
Oh god, the hemisphere thing is a myth. Stromboli says, Hannah, all I know to be clear, when I say the brains have hemispheres, what I'm saying is this idea of left brain, right brain, being creative versus analytical, that's a pop cultural myth. That is not true. That's not how the brain works. Stromboli says, Hannah, all I know as a Satanist is this. 7 tenets are dope, the music is cool, it makes for hot girlfriends and pentagrams. My butt plug that much cuter. Right on.
And hemispherical sync would be the merging of those two divinities internally, but it's been literalized externally. For the exact reason why these Satanists are sacrificing children. It is...
Who? What are you even talking about? That's not a thing that's happening, you goddamn weirdo.
It's the externalization of making sacred the cerebrospinal fluid, also called the seminal fluids, within the male.
I'm sorry, did you just say that you think that spinal fluid is cum? You think that cum is spinal fluid? My spine didn't shrink after I started taking T blockers. Let me put it that way.
But instead of sacrificing and offering the children up to a false god, you should be making the children sacred to yourself by raising these fluids from the base of your spine or sacrum bone up to the crown to become illuminated with a higher awareness.
I'm sorry, do you think that your cum has to go to your brain to give you enlightenment? You think cum brain is enlightenment?
Even most churches have their tithing set up to give 10% of our silver and gold up to God. But that is your cerebral spinal fluid, which is mercury or quicksilver.
God wants my cum?
And that becomes gold when it is elevated entirely. If you are supporting globalism, then you are supporting globalism, because it has everything to do with the Great Deception.
Incorrect word origin is evidence on the bingo card.
If you believe in gravity, you believe in the ball. If you
Flat Earth on the bingo card.
Believe in the government, whose motto on the dollar bill is "In God We Trust." God stands for Government Ordnance Department.
No, it means the Christian God. It was put on the money in the 1950s as a anti-Soviet rah-rah thing because the Soviets were secular as a country and America was not. It's literally just a Christian nationalist thing.
Which is to govern your mind, to create and solve every problem you encounter. It is the inversion of your own human power. You give up your natural inheritance to become a random object, instead of becoming the center of your own universe.
Why would I want to be the center of my own universe? What kind of narcissistic shit is this? Ew. Oh my god. Overthought says, but how will I transport this cum to God? I know. I'll use this sock.
Made in God's
Are you 14?
image. So I need you to understand that the Baphomet is a male with female parts. Because God is sexless, yet the devil is both sexes. God is eternal spirit, and the devil is...
So God doesn't have boobies and is smooth like a Ken doll. Okay.
temporal matter.
So God's like is God non-binary with no gender identity as well, or agender? That'd be interesting.
God is oneness.
Strumpoli says, wait, aren't brats the center of the universe? Sus.
And the devil is duality. Baphomet is androgynous, which means male and female.
Baphomet isn't Satan. Satan is a character created under Christianity. Baal is a completely different god from a different religion.
But that leads to androids, which means androgynous humanoids.
No, androids are like robots that look and behave like humans, as created by, oh god, Dr. Soong. Dr. Noonien Soong. Seriously though, no, that's not what androids means. That's not what androids means at all.
They want us to be okay with identifying as non-gender specific.
I mean, you should be comfortable with other people doing that, because who cares? People should be able to represent themselves however they want, however they identify. You personally don't have to feel that way about yourself. Like, if you're a cis man and you're comfortable with that, good. I'm happy for you. That's great. That doesn't mean you need to shit on other people who are trans, non-binary, agender, whatever. Just don't be a dick.
Because it eventually legitimizes identifying as a non-human in general.
Feels like you maybe did a slippery slope here. Kinda weird. Jitara says he doesn't like non-binary deities. He'll lose his mind when he learns about Boxy.
They are currently driving the spiritual movement towards a dead end with their predatory energy. Now, first of all...
Predatory energy.
Who is they? It's the people in democracy, aka demon crazy.
Do we need to start having a class in schools that explains etymology to people so they don't think words work like this? Because I am losing my goddamn mind at the number of people who think words, if you can split them up to something that sounds like other words, that means that that word means what those other words might mean. This isn't a thing of like, I've always been afraid when I'm getting older, and I'm getting closer to 30, you know? Which isn't that old. I know I'm not old. I get it. I'm in my late 20s. I get it. I'm young. I understand. So people older than me don't be like, you're so young. I know. I'm not crazy. I know. But I've always been afraid of being the kind of person who's been like, oh, these kids, and I'm not doing that. I want to be clear, I'm not doing that. I have seen great things from people younger than myself. Gen Z seems fucking awesome on the whole, but I also do kind of worry in general. As much as YouTube has crazy bullshit that's easily accessible, I feel like TikTok is even worse. The format of TikToks, how short they are, how consumable they are, and just boop, 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 boop. Concerns me a bit. Stone Corbell says that might be an all-time great bad word origin from these people. I would agree. That's pretty bad.
They are energy vampires. It's the politics which means many ticks.
So we're taking poly, which is Latin, I'm assuming. I don't know if it's like Greek or if it's Roman. Let's say it's Greek. Let's say it's Latin. I don't know. Poly, meaning many, correct. But you didn't take ticks and like figure out what's the origin of ticks. You just went, let's see the literal Latin definition of this prefix and then use the English sounding. Seems arbitrary. Seems like you're just looking for things to make up, huh?
With their parasitic
vampires on the bingo card, yes.
Agendas. And the agenda is to deceive the masses into giving up their soul. Therefore, yes, the Bible is basically their manifesto. So yes, right now we are in end times. And the end game is all-time data collecting and soul energy harvesting with our bodies as batteries to the AI quantum computing beast system.
That was some technobabble bullshit. That was crazy. That's almost impressive he got all that out. Let's hear that again.
So yes, right now we are in end times. And the end game is all-time data collecting and soul energy harvesting with our bodies as batteries to the AI quantum computing beast system. They want to...
It's impressive. It's like the conspiracy version of Rap God. Meek says, every year you age, the gods throw down a D20 die to determine whether or not your brain turns into super not. Screaming at the Radio, thank you for 27 months, says, word salad. And I think that's a sub-baby. This sub-baby's name is going to be... TikTok Calamity. I like that name. I don't know why. That'd be a good D&D character name, like for an NPC. Well, howdy there, I'm TikTok Calamity. I don't know what the situation would be. It's a pretty good name, though. JP Black says one of the most word salads of all word salads. Interadona says this gallop is exhausting, referencing Gish galloping.
Capture and limit our bodies in these smart city freight container stacked up hotels, as you've seen in that movie Ready Player One.
Everyone's favorite movie and book, Ready Player One. One of Steven Spielberg's most existent films.
Or like in The Matrix, while they allow our free mind to occupy the virtual universe and use our souls as decentralized electrical signal impulses on the blockchain ledger system. That's what 5, 6, and 7G are for. It's not...
What? 5G on the bingo card.
Not for making the internet faster for us. It is a piece of military technology.
I mean, a lot of military technology ends up being consumer goods. GPS, DARPANET, which eventually became the internet, also used it, I know, in universities and stuff. But like a lot of things that are initially used by the military eventually become used generally. The military just has a lot of money to spend on, like, cutting-edge or bleeding-edge technology that maybe even they themselves spent money to design. Like the GPS system, for instance, which only, I think, in, like, the 90s became accessible to the general public, or by general public, I mean, like, companies that wanted to pay to have access to it. So I don't know if 5G actually started in the military or not. But if it did, like, that's not out there. But I also don't necessarily think that's true. But who knows? Kind of seems like mobile data's been a big push for a while, considering how everyone basically has phones, so.
And we are basically funding and building our own open-air prisons with digital technology. And that's what BlackRock and Oak Ridge supercomputers are for. It's for record keeping of all of our information, mind files of our beingness into a crystalline database for their use to create the AI, which is the opposite of natural intelligence.
Believe sci-fi technology exists on the bingo card. Apparently he thinks we're all going to be absorbed into some sort of collective AI hive mind. Cool. Cool, cool.
This is spiritual...
Oh, we already had word salad. But yes.
warfare artificial against nature, and nature always wins.
I mean... What do you mean by that? You're kind of taking the Jurassic Park thing to go, a little too literally. Like, the planet can just, like, let's say with global warming, for instance, it's entirely possible that the planet will just end up in a cycle of greenhouse gases heating the planet as they think is going to happen, releasing even more greenhouse gases, which is going to create a feedback cycle, right? And the whole planet could turn into fucking Venus. Like, it could just have entire environmental collapse. I understand that on a small scale, you can be like, oh, life finds a way in certain situations. Sure, I get that. But also, like, nature isn't eternal. It can die. Nature on Earth had a beginning when we're talking about life, and it'll have an end. It's finite, as all things are. The universe itself is finite. Trees and living things and shit, oh yeah, way more fragile. Living stuff will be gone long before the universe is.
So as an educator and a humanitarian,
Idiot thinks they're a genius? Not yet. They have to make a specific claim about, like, everyone else is stupid, everyone else is an idiot, I'm so smart. Something along those lines.
I suggest you merge with nature and prepare right away for true ascendance, which is transcendence, not transhumanism. We transcend space and time by becoming spirits again, and not through bio-digital convergence by becoming virtual avatars.
What?
There is no such thing as a nuclear bomb or a nuclear warhead. All of these threats of nuclear catastrophe is fear-mongering.
This is a conspiracy that we've covered several times. Fucked up. Offensive. Nuclear weapons exist. They have killed people. They have maimed people, irradiated people. The idea that nuclear weapons doesn't exist makes me mad because it's one of the central facts about both modern and, like, half of the 20th century's politics are pretty dictated by the existence of nuclear weapons. Like, the existence of nuclear weapons has reshaped international conflict. It has reshaped international relations. Like, this idea that they don't exist is wild, because the world would function entirely differently if nuclear weapons did not exist. It's just crazy to me that anyone would think this.
The only way an explosion happens like this, every single explosion we've ever seen, has been done by igniting thousands of tons of ammonium nitrate, what they use to make TNT. The most divine thing about this explosion is it is a representation of a divine masculine energy and...
Oh my god, he thinks it looks like a dick. He thinks the mushroom cloud looks like a dick, so he thinks it's masculine energy. Oh fuck. Oh fuck, he thinks mushroom clouds are a cock. Fenekagami says, even if we can fix the climate change problem, it'll likely take at least 200 years, considering it took us 200 years to get here. Either way, it's a problem that the next few eras of human history will be wrestling with. Maybe the last few. I'm not a complete doomer, but like, if I found out somehow objectively, there's no way to know the future, but let's say you could. Let's say I get a psychic vision that's real, and it's like, oh, humans are going to die in the next 300 years because of climate change, and there's going to be an entire environmental collapse, and even if life does exist in some form, humans are not a part of it, and everything goes back, you know, it's a mass extinction that includes humans. I'd be like, okay, yeah, that about makes sense. I don't necessarily think everything would die, but like,
a divine feminine energy.
Things would get very Tyler Durden-esque, unfortunately, I think. Society would collapse and it would be, like, agrarian again, and it would be bad.
This being the penis, this being the vagina.
Oh, he literally said it. Okay, he thinks that a mushroom cloud is literally both a penis and vagina. But you think it's masculine energy? Like, from my perspective, of course, I'm trans. I don't think your genitals have to, like, correlate with your gender or whatever, or have to correlate with masculinity or femininity or whatever. My penis is quite feminine, for the record. But like, if you don't believe trans people, clearly, because this video is like transphobic and stuff. If there's a penis and a vagina, why do you think it's masculine energy? Wouldn't this just be sexual energy? If you feel that this is representative of a penis penetrating a vagina? I don't know how else to word it. It's what he thinks it looks like. That doesn't make it masculine energy. That's like saying sex is masculine. Like, that's insane to me. Like, sex could be masculine if both the people, or any number of the people, if all the people involved were masculine, I guess, but you could say the opposite. I'm confused. I've gone off track here because I'm trying to rationalize why this guy thinks a nuclear explosion is a dick and balls. Dick and balls and vagina. Ugh.
And this also looks kind of familiar, kind of like...
Oh, what about Bob says, oh, there's a link. Can you post the link in chat, please?
Which...
An ankh? No, it doesn't. You think a nuclear explosion looks like an ankh? Is any thing that opens up like that a nuclear explosion? Shapes exist. Shapes are things. Like, shapes are things that we recognize around us and then classify as, like, you know, platonic solids, like squares and circles and spheres and shit. Wait, does that make an onk sexual? Are onks sexual? Here's that link from What About Bob?
Night at 11.
Doom! He's one of my favorite side Futurama characters, the alien newscaster. Love him. Gitara says, if he was right, wouldn't the powers that be stop him from spreading this on social media? I'd expect them to find him and go, yes, sir, you figured out the entire plan. Our vast-reaching power and influence meant nothing to your shrewd observations. You figured out our plan to stop you from ascending. You got us. And then, if the powers that be are as controlling and cruel as he believes, the World Government Agency would probably do non-TOS friendly stuff to him. Yeah. Very weird. Very, very weird.
Which is an ankh.
You can use it as a dildo. You can use anything as a dildo if you're brave enough.
This is a representation of divine feminine and divine masculine finding unity. So the most powerful you will ever become.
I don't know what the ankh is symbolic of. Now I gotta look this up for this guy. Ankh. Is it A-N-K? How do you spell ankh? Oh, A-N-K-H. Ankh. The Ankh, or Key of Life, is an ancient Egyptian hieroglyphic symbol used in Egyptian art and writing to represent the word for life, and by extension as a symbol of life itself. Okay, so it's life, not the joining of male and feminine energy. Although I guess you could argue those concepts aren't mutually exclusive. Life involving procreation, but
is to be in your divine masculine or in your divine feminine. And you cannot invert that no matter how hard you try in
beg to differ. I have pretty good boobies.
In accordance with nature. Now I'm sure you've seen this.
I made nature my bitch with pharmaceuticals. So nature can suck it.
Movie Hancock, which is an inversion when they talk about the gods finding their twin flame.
Are we talking about Hancock in 2023? Hancock was the most forgettable movie ever. Who talks about Hancock?
When they fall in love,
Hancock was a decent premise for a story, and I hated the result.
they end up becoming mortal and
It ended up being shittier Highlander. Like shitty Highlander, kind of.
die.
We worked for years trying to activate your source code. I was about to give up when I realized it was never just you. Alone, neither of you is of any particular value.
The fourth Matrix movie is interesting. I own the fourth Matrix film. I own all the Matrix films. I'm not really a fan of the third and fourth. Well, I'm not a fan of the third. The fourth I don't like as a Matrix movie. I do kind of like the fourth Matrix movie as a meta-commentary on reboots. It's a pretty bad Matrix movie. It's a pretty interesting personal project. Was it Lana who wrote the fourth one? I want to say it was Lana. I'm sorry if it was the other Wachowski sister. But, like, I like the fourth movie, just not as a Matrix movie. But it is a fun meta-commentary on reboots and creators kind of being forced by studios to come back and work on projects that shouldn't really exist. It's alright. Animatrix is great. I love the Animatrix. That's maybe... I like the first Matrix movie, but, like, the Animatrix is pretty great. The Animatrix on its own might be better than the Matrix. And I know, anime, I know. Drop the character shit for a second, where I don't genuinely have a hate for anime. Animatrix is really good. The whole segment with the, world champion runner, excellent. Amazing. Fantastic. I really wish we could get, like, an anthology series in the style of Animatrix. Styles, I guess. You know? Because I think The Matrix is actually a concept you could do interesting things with, like the Animatrix did. I just don't find the Neo stuff, that story's done. Whatever. I just think the concept could be used in an anthology format to be interesting. The whole segment in the Animatrix where the kids are, like, I don't want to spoil too much, but they find sort of the area that's glitched out, and, like, when they drop things from a high height, it stops before it hits the ground. I don't know. Little stories like that. They're cute. Star Wars Visions. Good example of the kind of thing I'm thinking of. Yeah. I liked that Star Wars Visions episode. I didn't watch most of them. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world. But, you know, I like it enough. I liked the one, it might have even been like the first or second episode, where it's like sort of the not Western, I'm sorry. It's like almost like an old samurai story, I think. And it's like there's the Jedi that, like, is trying to hide being a Jedi, but then the Sith or the Jedi Hunter, whatever they're called, shows up and they have, like, a duel. That one was pretty good. Hannah mentions Blu-rays on the bingo card.
Like acids and bases, you're dangerous when mixed together. Every sin where you two bonded, let's just say bad things happened. However, as long as I managed to keep you close, but not too close, I discovered...
I also think it's a little weird in the fourth Matrix movie that they made it a video game instead of a movie. I think it would have been more impactful if the Matrix was a movie in the movie as opposed to it being a video game. Kind of felt like, I don't know how to put this. I don't know that much about the Wachowski sisters. And again, I'm sorry if I forgot which one. I think it was Lana that did the fourth Matrix. Sorry if it was the other sister. Kind of felt like the kind of movie that didn't really know how to write video game stuff. Like, I'm imagining in my head the Matrix as a video game. And I know there is, like, a Matrix video game that's quite good that came out, you know, I know, I'm aware of that one. But, like, the first Matrix movie being just a video game, I don't know. Felt weird. Anyway. I know the Matrix video game is supposed to be a canon part, but in the movie, the Matrix isn't a movie at all. It's only a video game. I just think it would have been more impactful if basically he was playing sort of Keanu Reeves, but like Mr. Anderson Keanu Reeves. It was original and fresh. I don't know about that. Yeah, the PS2 game. Because, like, the game actually has a lot of interesting stuff that I think it takes place between the second and third games or something. Or movies, I mean, rather. And it actually has important canon stuff, which is interesting. The fourth had some pretty fun action sequences, I will say, but the story was bad as a Matrix movie. Again, I enjoyed it as a meta-commentary. Peacockosaur says she needed Neo to be a programmer. I guess. I don't know. I feel like you could have had him discover his programming powers, though. Like, oh, I'm not just an actor. How do I know how to program? And it turns out, like, part of his Neo brain is leaking into the fake Mr. Anderson actor brain. I don't know. You could write around it. Once again, they say everything is old is new again. The latest pop culture reboot of toys and cartoons and other merchandise just dropped. What? They're doing Cowboys of Moon Mesa reboot? What? What? I have nothing against the Cowboys of Moon Mesa. I just think that's pretty obscure. Can I play this? Let me see. Yeah, it's probably fine. Lana Wachowski wrote and directed The Matrix Revolutions. Cool. This was one of... Why wouldn't they do Street Sharks before Moon Mesa? Yeah, Ramblin' Boy, I'm thinking the same thing. I feel like it, like, in terms of rip-offs of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Street Sharks. I'm trying to think what the other ones were. I've never seen Biker Mouses from Mars, so I can't speak to that one. But then it's like, probably Cowboys of Moon Mesa. And then, like, down here is the Mighty Ducks series, the animated one where they're actual superhero ducks. Gargoyles, I guess. Gargoyles could be in that category. Gargoyles is up there. Gargoyles is maybe better than TMNT. Not maybe. I'll be honest. No, Gargoyles is better than TMNT. And I like TMNT fine. But no, Gargoyles is a better show. They're making a live-action Gargoyles. It's probably going to be bad because it's live-action Disney. It's Ceci says one of the McElroy brothers calls them abnormals. Better than it has any right to be. Good theme song. No, I don't think this is Disney. I don't remember who made this. Why are the women cows hot? Are you a furry? It's probably because you're a furry. Let's take a look at the bingo card. Incorrect word origin is evidence. Hannah flirts with Baja. Word salad. Oh, they showed up into the 2000s TMNT? I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool. Honestly, whoever owns TMNT, just buy all these other subsidiaries and make Street Sharks and Cowboys of Moon Mesa in canon. Or someone write me a fan fiction. Oh, that probably exists. Mr. Whiskers says you can be a furry in Meyer without being a furry, right, chat? Right, chat? Uh-huh. No, we have 5G, not 5D. Vampires. Is that it? Might be it. PSYOP. Ooh, we should do PSYOP for the he thinks nuclear bombs aren't real. Where's PSYOP? Right there. Hydrate. Why do I have so many furries in chat? Like, I have nothing, like, furries, that's fine. Be a furry, I'm happy for you. It's just interesting that so many furries end up in my audience. Believe sci-fi tech actually exists. Let's see. Flat Earth. Mark of the Beast. 5G. That's true. There's a pretty big crossover between queer people, trans people, furries. Fair enough. Transphobia, transvestigation. Hannah's so exasperated all she can do is put her head in her hands for a bit. I didn't literally do that, but I think when I paused for a long period of time, that basically covers the same idea. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. Is that it? Anything else? I think that might be it. Fennikagami says furries will be the next target for the right once trans people are no longer viable. They've already kind of did that with, like, the litter box hoax. So I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me, though. But, like, that's the interesting thing. I think they're getting diminishing returns on this because it used to generally be, like, in the 80s and 90s, there was the homophobia. It was more specifically targeted towards, like, gay men, of course, especially during the AIDS crisis, which Ronald Reagan and his fucking administration ignored because they didn't want to do anything, and they felt that it was sort of the unofficial, unspoken party policy in the 80s of the Republicans that AIDS is a divine judgment from God. So they just kind of didn't do shit about it, and there was, like, you know, a whole panic about it. And anyway, the right wing used that through the 80s and 90s as one of their social issue things, tried to be anti-gay all the way up until, like, 2015 when Obergefell v. Hodges happened. Hopefully we can hold on to that as long as we possibly can. Until that happened, and then they realized maybe this isn't a winning argument. Like, public sentiment is mostly positive for, like, gay and lesbian people these days. But then they saw trans people, which of course are less understood in general in public because, you know, the discourse for the past 20, 30 years around queer people has centered around, like, gay and lesbian people. And I get that. There's, of course, always been, like, a trans presence. But there was less discussions overtly about trans issues and trans individuals because it was mostly focused on right to marry and stuff for people of any gender. Fair enough. But now that it's become an issue of, like, oh, hey, let's talk about trans people as part of the discourse, all of a sudden, Republicans decided here's another marginalized group that isn't quite accepted by most people yet. Let's use this in order to spread a bunch of bullshit. And they've not only done that, but they've actually regressed, and they've been able to use... This is why the, like... And I know a lot of these people are fake and just, like, straight people who are transphobic and homophobic, and they want to use this to try and divide people. But anyone who's actually queer and in, like, the LGB alliance type thing, and I know there are actually people who are gay or lesbian, bi, whatever, who are transphobic. And regardless of just how short-sighted that is, and regardless of how terrible that is, like, to be shitty when you know what it's like to be marginalized or should be able to relate, you know? Even if you didn't have empathy, you'd think you'd understand because it's something you experienced or people like you have experienced quite recently. But anyway, people like that didn't give a fuck. And now, of course, the thing we all said was going to happen has happened, and now right-wingers are using transphobia and lumping it all in with, like, everyone in the queer community, and all of a sudden they've used it as a crowbar to, again, try and make it socially acceptable to hate anyone in the LGBTQIA plus community. We knew this was going to happen. They're going to come after the most vulnerable first. trans individuals, trans kids, right? But then, of course, they move on. They use it to be homophobic. They use it to be against, people who are lesbians. They use it against bi people. It's just... There is a reason that the LGBT plus community exists. And it's because coalition building and working together is how we, as a community, for decades, have had to fight together in a very intentional way and lobby in a very intentional way together. It's like unionization in the workplace, but it's social unionization. It's the recognition that, our interests are aligned and we're all being treated poorly because of this. And if you think it's right to split people out of this community, then all you're doing is making yourself more vulnerable. Because I'm telling you, the people out there who are pushing like the LGB without the T stuff, and they also don't generally like non-binary people. Some of them don't like ace people being in the community, which I think is so stupid. Like, the people who want these communities to be divided are the people who want to hurt us, all of us. And to them, it benefits trying to break up this coalition that has helped push for social change successfully, albeit slowly, over decades. So please don't fall for this shit. I don't expect anyone in my audience to feel that way, of course. But, just generally, it's so insane to me watching these people just fall into the same shit, the same propaganda that used to be used against people like them. It's wild to me. Stephen J. Neptune Man says, I'm looking at the title. What's this about? Australia? We can do the Australia thing now. Yeah. This video is entitled, What is Australia? This is kind of conspiracy, also Sov City. This person's going to talk for a while about what they think Australia is as a concept. And it'll be rambly. Don't apologize when I miss your links and bits, guys. Seriously. That's on me. You don't have to apologize. I'm not doing it intentionally. You're not bothering me. That's my fault. I apologize. Let me take a look where I can find these links. Mentioned they showed up in the 2002 series, but were also associated before in the comics. Oh! That's really cool. That's awesome. Are the TMNT comics still exist in the same universe as, the original ones, or have they rebooted at some point? Because I saw that it was in black and white. So is that, the original TMNT, or is it, a newer version in the comics? And then there was a second link. I love that. That's so good. I don't know how I missed this episode. I really liked the 2000s TMNT show. I liked the 80s one, too, because I had the VHSs in the 90s, and I really liked those. But yeah, I watched the 2000 series a bit. Turtles Forever is great. Turtles Forever is awesome. The 2000s TMNT series is actually coming out on DVD soon. It's on my wish list. Sorry. Have to self-promote. You know how it is. Capitalism. They were in the future? Oh, cool. Fenekagami says, unfortunately, sometimes when people are miserable, rather than try to fix their misery, people choose to inflict misery on others, so the first group can feel ahead, as they say, misery loves company. Yeah. This is what I would say. I don't think anyone here is transphobic for obvious reasons, at least not the people who are, fans of mine, because I'm trans. Although that would be funny if there was someone who liked me, but just damn, I don't like that she's trans. Be funny. Anyway, I will say this. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. Like I said, I'm under 30. Got a ways to go, hopefully. As many of you do. I know a lot of my audience is around my age, or some are younger, some are older, but I think generally a lot of them are kind of within 10 years of me, either side. I think that's the big thing in the bell curve, probably, is people around my age, give or take 10 years. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I don't know what social groups we're going to find out more about in the future. Like, I don't know what sub-communities exist out there of people that maybe it's something I've never even thought of. I don't know. But whatever it is, if you hear about something that's new to you and scary and weird, don't let your first reaction become your cemented reaction. As long as people aren't hurting anyone, be open to other people who are different. Because remember, all of us right now, if you're in this community, even if you're just an ally, you're being looked down on by people in society because at minimum you're an ally to trans people. Or don't care that trans people exist and you're fine with it. You know what I mean? Think about that, and then think about, in the future, if you come across something that's like, that's weird, don't let the fact that you find it weird make you dislike people. It's fine if you think something's weird and you're just like, that's weird, I don't get it. That's fine. There are things I don't get, but I'm not mad about. I'm just like, I don't get it. Like furries, right? I don't get the furry thing. Like, sometimes furry art can be cute, but I don't understand the lewd side of it, you know? But I also don't care. As long as you're not hurting anyone, as long as everything is consensual, I do not care. And that's pretty much how you should be. MH Darkbeast says the Mirage comics are kind of weird. Some are canon and some are not. Depends on the writers. The new IDW series is much better. Okay. I haven't picked up a new comic in a long time that wasn't just like a Marvel thing. I should probably go check out the comic book store sometime around me. I have a nice comic book store by me and has gaming stuff too. It's nice. I actually have a couple comic book stores by me. I'm pretty lucky. Alright, I think we're caught up. Let's get to the Australia thing. I love the Hellfire Gala. I love all the outfits. And I know that's the point, but just like, I haven't really read the Hellfire Gala stories, but I always like looking at the promotional material that shows the different outfits for the superheroes. I love different variations of superhero costumes. For those who don't know, in the Marvel Comics, this gala is basically the Met Gala of the Marvel Universe, but it's for like super-powered individuals. So when they do it, they give like special fancy outfits to the characters, and it's fun. What is Australia? Any I know I have Australians in the audience. How many people here are Australian? Let me know. Relevant?
I was formed in the mother gum. My mind and my gum were in touch with dozens of others, like a crowded womb. I guess I missed that.
But Nettie's from the same place you're from, and he's a wet hot dog around everyone.
People get built different. We don't need to figure it out, we just need to respect it. Maybe he likes his own company better than I like mine.
True! Based Adventure Time. I still haven't seen the follow-up Adventure Time stuff. At some point. Ooh, maybe I'll pick Adventure Time as the next show Baha and I watch. Eee, that might be fun. Here we go.
Australia, in all capitals. What is it? We found it. It's in the Income Tax Assessment Act 1997, which is a Commonwealth Act, section 960 and decimal 5.05. If you want to know how much reading I do, that's right near the end. So it defines what this is. And if you have a look at it, it is a number of islands around Australia, so the Christmas Islands, the Cocos Islands, and Heard Island, a few other islands, but it's also the water. There's a map that the government produces to tell you exactly what this is, and it's not.
Yeah, the water around countries, up to a certain extent, are generally considered their territory until it hits international waters. I don't know if there's standardized rules for this that are kind of agreed upon, or if it's a case-by-case basis, but yeah. Generally, the geographic area of your country and its jurisdiction includes waters up to a certain extent. It's a practicality thing, so that if anyone is bringing things in or out with trade, legally, illegally, whatever, you and your Coast Guard or whatever have the right to, enforce laws in the surrounding area of your country. Especially important probably in Australia, which is, it is a continent, but it's a continent where people are generally by the coasts, because the center is just Mad Max. Literally, it's just Mad Max in the center.
Not the land, because it says that Australia includes the continental shelf, the water above the continental shelf, the air above the continental shelf, and some of the land, the water around these islands. And this is exactly where we're saying that this is maritime law. This is coming in from the ocean.
The oceans have maritime law. Like, if your country has that, then yes. But you're not in the ocean. You're on land. So you follow the laws that are not those.
Australia doesn't start till 200 metres offshore, and it goes out for about 200 kilometres, guys. That's Australia. That's it.
Okay.
That's the legal definition under that act of what it is. And
it's interesting, too, because I've seen this both in conspiracy theorists and sovereign citizens specifically. They'll look at one document or legal thing, they'll look at one bill or one whatever, and it'll define a word. Like, in this case, it's defining Australia as, the continent, as well as, 200 kilometers out into the ocean or whatever. Because of that, he will, I would imagine, try and apply this definition, whatever it happens to be, universally, even though the context of words in different laws and documents can mean different things. Like, Australia could mean the literal landmass, it could mean the jurisdiction, it could mean the government in general, it could mean the society, right? Words are interesting in that the context makes what they mean different. It's not math. Language is imprecise. That's why for legal documents and bills, for each one, generally definitions are included, so you know exactly what it's talking about. When this doesn't happen, sometimes there's points of contention in the law, and those have to be adjudicated by the courts, because they have to say, okay, what did this mean? We see what it says, but what does it mean? Because maybe they weren't clear enough. So this idea that, I'm gonna find secret meanings of words and applying these things universally based on whatever I feel is the best in the moment for my beliefs, it's just ridiculous. It's just myth-making.
And the government has produced a map to show you, and you can see that obviously now. So what does it mean if you're an Australian? If you have a look under the Commonwealth Citizenship Act, sorry, I can't remember the year, Section 4, I think it is, 2007 Act, yeah, I think that sounds right. Yep, so 2007 Act, Section 4, and it also refers to some other sections on what an Australian is. So if you're an Australian, that means you were either born in Australia, or you have one parent who was born in Australia, or you have failed to renounce your citizenship of Australia. Now you can probably see why you need a ship, given that Australia is full of water.
It literally isn't, though. It literally isn't, though. You're talking about the ocean.
You need to be able to float. Nationals don't float, apparently, so they've got to give you a citizenship to get around in. So
we already had incorrect word origin as evidence.
Being an Australian, so unless your parents were born in the ocean...
Words are not magic. Words don't have secret meanings like this. It would destroy the purpose of communication. Words are literally a thing that humans invented in order to share ideas. Certainly, people abuse this, people commit fraud, people lie, I understand. But generally, even within those things, people aren't double-speaking the way you are saying because it's indecipherable. The entire point of communication is you, the sender, are saying things in words that are going to be gotten by a receiver and then have to be interpreted. They have to understand your meaning. So if you hide a bunch of things in words like this, it doesn't matter if they don't understand it, right? What are you talking about? Words aren't magic. It's how we're communicating. If you were trying to hide something, you wouldn't hide it in the words like this. It would just be a thing, and you'd be lying about it.
200 meters offshore or more, or you were born in the ocean 200 meters offshore or more, then you are...
I thought it was 200 kilometers.
...not an Australian. You have simply volunteered to become an Australian yourself by applying for the Australian birth certificate, which gives you the citizenship. Now, there's something called being shanghaied. It's actually a legal term, and it's being put in...
Being shanghaied means basically being forced into becoming a crew on some sort of ship. It's not a term that's used very literally often anymore, because that doesn't happen a ton.
...into the Navy. So basically what they do is they get you drunk, and then they put you on a ship, they sail outside the territorial waters of the country you were shanghaied in, and then you have to work on the ship because you are under the jurisdiction of the master. So when you're a baby and your parents sign you up to Australia, so you're no longer in the Commonwealth of Australia, the constitutional one, you are shanghaied as a baby.
No, you're not. You're literally just born and your parents get you a birth certificate, and if you're a citizen of Australia, its constitution applies to you if it has something literally called its constitution. I don't know if it has a founding document exactly like that. Like the UK. The UK is different in that it's more a collection of a bunch of things. It doesn't have a definitive constitution, to my understanding. So I don't know what the deal with Australia is. But, like, no, if you're an Australian citizen, all the laws apply to you, but all the rights also apply to you. That's how it works.
Kind of, because they also leave the option of you to become a Christian name and the beneficiary, which leaves you on the land. So I guess the crazy process that we go through is that when we're Shanghai, we're taken out to sea, we're put into this company that surrounds the land of the Commonwealth of Australia, this water world, and then we are given a licence, which is a birth certificate for our citizenship, so we can come back onto the land of the Commonwealth of Australia.
Has a really racist history. That doesn't shock me.
And be licensed to be here, but if we do anything wrong, we get locked up straight away. Because that's the contractual obligations, and that's under military law. Any soldier coming onto land...
What? Mr., Miss, and Mrs. he thinks are foreign military accounts. They are not. They're literally just titles that are given to people that denote gender, and in the case of Miss, has connotations of not being married, though not necessarily these days. Some people use Ms.
Any Navy, they have to be licensed to be here, and they have to work under the Rome Statute, and that also goes back to the Nuremberg trials and all that as well.
That's corpus juris, isn't it?
Corpus juris, yeah, of the water. So this is, you can start to see your citizenship in the maritime law. So we're all maritime contractors. So when you give the birth certificate back, one of the other definitions in the Citizenship Act of an Australian was someone who has not given up their citizenship. And to give it up, you have to go back to another nation, and that nation has to accept you. Unfortunately, the Commonwealth of Australia is empty, so there's no one in it to accept you. If we start...
No, it's not. People live in Australia. People live in Australia. It's a whole-ass continent/country. Go to Sydney, you'll probably see some people. Heck, go to Bendigo. You'll maybe see some people.
In the size, we could take everybody back.
Bendigo's the one other Australian city I know other than Sydney, so it's the root of a lot of my Australia jokes.
And this is why the old Parliament House is vacant, because they're waiting for people to turn up.
I would imagine because they built a new Parliament House at some point. Wendigo. I fucked it up. Perth.
And restart the Commonwealth. This is the administrator coming in from the water, using contract law, using trust law.
It's from a private foreign company, but isn't it?
I've heard of Melbourne. I've just not thought of it.
Absolutely. This is the US Federal Reserve.
It does not derive from any part of Australia.
No, this...
Is the guy who's off camera holding the camera, is he like this guy's teacher of this bullshit?
This has nothing to do with us. This is
the real Commonwealth of Australia.
No, the Commonwealth of Australia has nothing to do with this. They're a completely separate company.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
I have not seen Dank Pods. What is this? Ugh.
Oh, forget that.
Oh, God. Wait, what does this person do?
Lawyer. And, yep, that's the most generic baby I've ever seen. And it goes with the other treasures over here, alongside this thing. and this thing.
That's too intense for me. I don't even know what's going on.
The interesting things was an Australian resident, which is something else, is actually described in the International Civil Aviation Organisation Treaty.
Oh, maybe I have seen that person before. Do they do reviews of, like, different audio stuff? Maybe I have seen that person.
We have with the UN. An Australian resident is someone who ordinarily lives in Australia. So if you normally live 200 metres offshore in the water, then you're...
No! Australia is inclusive of the landmass. You're literally just citing the ocean part owned by Australia that's within its jurisdiction. That doesn't mean it's the only thing they own. I just got it. I just got that he thinks only in the water is Australia. Holy crap. Wow, that's quite bad.
The definition. And funnily enough, we do, but we've got license or liberty to come back onto the land and be here as contractors for this Admiralty or Maritime Jurisdiction Corporation, which is a ship. And if you look at the way ships are registered, this goes back to German.
Life is easy when you can just make words mean whatever you think they mean for your wacko conspiracy.
Shipping, and they registered ships with all capitals. Have a look at the name of the Titanic.
Often things are in all capital letters so it can be read easier. This is why in government documents, the style guides for governments usually have proper nouns or specifically names in all caps because it's the most legible.
And I think Australia might be going the way of the Titanic if Mum and I keep doing these videos.
I need Titanic out of nowhere on the next bingo card.
Any questions on that one, mate?
No, that's basically it. It's a bit of a shock to find out that Australia is the margin. It's the marginal. It's the marginal text.
Yeah,
marginal
can I take the camera and you describe marginal text for everybody?
Yeah.
I want to know what their friendship is like. This looks like an interesting dynamic.
Well, I think I didn't really have a shave and got ready for it, but I think the marginal, the word, it's like a document. You see here, this is probably classical. This is the document. This is the main part of the document, but the administration of a document is in the margin. And here you've got the page numbers, the sections, the name of place.
Bonk, El Presidente. Much bonk. Derp says, every word out of this guy's mouth sounds like it was produced by Tinfoil GPT. Oh, you guys know my feelings on AI, but it might be funny one day to like try and get it to act like a conspiracy theorist and ask it questions. That might be kind of funny.
Places.
I've heard ChatGPT has gotten just terrible lately though, which is kind of funny.
And it operates in a, you'll probably find it is too. It's an italic text. So
it's a different text
it's
to the body of the text.
Yes, and it's over here.
I'm sorry, what do you think italics means in this context?
Got debased Latin.
Yeah.
But what
debased Latin?
The margin is doing is making
bold
sure
numbers as well.
Bold numbers.
Oh my god, he thinks the margin means something. Holy fuck.
And no matter where you go, and
everything's different. You're saying in the margin to the body.
Surprised he doesn't bring up the fact that everyone in Australia calls each other mate. Ooh, that's a good one.
That's right, and it's supposed to be different to make sure that the main body of the text is alien from the margin. So what's happening?
Is that anything like Reformed Egyptian? Is that the Joseph Smith thing with the plates? Or was that a reference to something else? Who came up with the Reformed Egyptian thing?
And in Australia is you've got the...
I'm not sure if they're a flat earther.
You've got the Australia sort of thing. Something like that.
I realized the other day that unironically, I'm kind of like... They say it takes like 10,000 hours in order to become an expert in something. And over the last 3 years, I'm pretty sure I've done that much conspiracy content. Though who can say? Let me actually think about this. 10,000. Let's see. I do tinfoil at least usually once a week. So I usually on average go 3 hours. So let's say 3 times 52, which is 156 times 3. Oh, I'm not even close. Holy shit. I'm not even close to an expert. I need to work harder. Someday I will be an expert on conspiracy theories, chat. Someday. As much as a lay person can, at least.
But this goes up a bit more like that. But around Australia, you've got this green zone that comes out around the islands. It comes down here, and I think it actually comes out over to Lord Howe Island. That's the margin. This
So
area.
the marginal text is actually a physical area around Australia, is what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm definitely not an expert in the Bible, that's for sure.
What I'm saying is on the maps, whereas this is the real Australia.
Or Commonwealth of Australia.
A-U-S-T-R-A-L-I-A. This one here is the all uppercase Australia, and this is the real English Australia.
No.
So this one's been vacated and this one's administrating.
This is this is the administrator, just like on the page. You've got to remember that this is all got to do with.
Feels a little bit like the quantum grammar thing from yesterday.
The real Australia, and there's the administration of the.
Flat Earth is just the legal flat world of paper. Okay, so I don't think he's a literal flat earther, but he thinks the world is flat in that it's all legal nonsense. He thinks it's a legal fiction.
Page, the administration of Australia. And it's just done in a different sort of a...
The 10K hours thing is debunked? Okay.
Mapping version, but it's using the same thing. So this all uppercase
the model
text
is identical.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And you'll notice that in all of their maritime court documents and driver licenses, all this, they're using this all uppercase text on it, which is...
Again, it's because it's legible. It's because it's very legible, both for people and things that scan.
Marginal text. So what you're saying, what they're doing is they're issuing the citizens that are actually living here out in the...
And the chapter headers, generally, like, let me pull a book. I don't know. Here's a couple books. Do these have headers? Like, these ones have letters. This is Jordan Peterson's sequel to his terrible Rules for Life book. This has, like, page headers, and they are also in all capitals. It's a style choice. I don't know if they're actual, like, general rules for having, like, page headers like this. I've never written a book, so I don't know. But, like, I've seen that happen before where it's all caps because it's, like, not part of the text. It's just, like, part of the page for you to identify which part of the book it is. Anyway. Marginal text, does he mean footnotes? Possibly. I actually don't know.
Water Australia.
So they're born here, they're shanghaied out to here, and then they're licensed as pirates back to here.
No, they're not. No one's a pirate. What are you talking about?
When they turn 21, they should have the right to...
Dudes spanking dudes. Why? What? As long as you recognize it's a fantasy thing. The Amish community is rife with abuse. Don't romanticize the Amish, okay? It's fine if it's a fantasy thing, that's fine. But in real life, don't romanticize the Amish.
Come back into here.
And if they don't take
if they don't come back, well then they remain as the citizens out here, as the administrator or as the defender of Australia.
And obviously they're only out at sea in an equity sense, not literally.
Yes. in a legal sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right, Lance.
And the legal sense is all out here. So once you accept these legal titles from this zone outside of Australia, which is in this zone here, what they're saying is that you are living in the margin, which is the...
No, it's not what they're saying. You were right. You were right, Lance. You nailed it.
Administrative part of the page. And
literally the margins of the page are just like different kinds of documents have different style guides sometimes, I imagine, because I think this is like a legal book. I imagine the way that they are written, the way that the law or whatever the bill was written probably has specific style guides that includes whatever margin. I know that it also looks like there's numbers to help you, you know, get the section, which happens a lot in legal documents, so they're easier to parse because you can be like in section 237 subsection B, and then you can easily navigate there. It's not a conspiracy. The margins, I've seen conspiracies over some really petty, weird things. I'm gonna make a statement now that I'm kind of surprised I'm making. I think believing that the size of a book's margins being part of a conspiracy might be one of the pettiest, silliest conspiracies I've ever heard. Like, that's on another level of just like, what? Why? What? Like, you're looking at a thing that no one else even thinks about, right? Margins are margins. Some are bigger than others. Sometimes you want to take notes in them. Like, that's great. That's fine. Who thinks, the margins of this page must be telling me a secret message? You are literally reading meaning out of white space. You are taking emptiness, nothingness, and ascribing malicious intent to it. And I don't think there's a better metaphor I could think of. I could think for 1,000 years and I couldn't think of a better metaphor for conspiracy thinking than that. Taking the white space, taking a lack of information, and turning it malicious and scary and threatening. Maps and Mimic says, please also do not buy pets from the Amish. 9 times out of 10, they're treating the animals horribly and running puppy mills. Source, I used to live in Pennsylvania. Yeah, puppy mills are disgusting. Puppy mills are absolutely disgusting. They should be banned. In Michigan, are they banned? Let me look. Michigan, are puppy mills banned? Looks like they're working on it. To combat puppy mills, Michigan bill would stop dog sales at pet shops. Good. Think they should just ban them all together, if I'm being honest. Yikerinos. My, first dog, Joe, second dog, actually. I wasn't there when they got, Sandy, which was my, the first pet when I was younger. But the first pet I was there for was a dog named Joe. I named the dog. I liked human names for dogs for whatever reason. His name was Joe. We got him at a puppy mill, and it was disgusting. Even as a little kid, I was a little kid. I didn't know. I'd never been to where pets, were before. I had no context, but we went in, and thinking back on it, it was really gross. It was disgusting. Like, the mom and dad dogs were there, and they were in, these tiny pens separate. It was really bad, and you could tell that, this was, this poor fucking mother dog was, it had multiple litters and just looked miserable. Terrible. Anyway.
If you go 200 meters off...
I don't even think a dog breeder's a good thing. There are so many dogs out there that need rescuing. Go to an animal rescue. I'm telling you guys, there's such a surplus of animals, dogs, cats, whatever else out there that need homes. Please, if you can, if you're looking for a pet, please primarily look into animal rescues. Please. Oh.
Sure. If you swim out there...
Adopt, don't shop. True.
You can swim to Australia.
Yes, but you won't see the line 200 meters out. You won't see it in the actual water. This is the mapping.
It's like a border between states.
That's right. But on the paper, this is where it all exists. And what's worrying me about people like Rod Cullerton and Stephen Spears and Wayne Glue, these, as good as their research, amazing amount of research that they're doing, they're missing this one point, is that they're already citizens from out here, and they're asking this company to stand down.
No, none of that is true. Again, this is hard to even cover, because what can you say other than this is so ridiculous, it's just objectively untrue? No, You're working off of false premises initially. The initial premise that there is a separate Australia that is land and sea that are legally distinct in the way that you are describing is wrong. It is objectively wrong. Excuse me.
They can't, if you are a citizen and you hold the identifications of...
Asking themselves to stand out, basically.
Yes, you can't do it. And you know, something that Wayne Glue is fantastic as the research, and he's actually created...
Why do I gotta look up Wayne Glue now? Wayne Glue, apparently a person. Wayne Kenneth... Oh, is it this? Is it G-L-E-W? Oh, yeah. Yep. I've actually looked this guy up before. I didn't know his name. I didn't remember his name. But yeah, he also does weird Sovsit stuff. The only authority in this country is under the crown. This is him.
This video I find is necessary due to the fact that two of the worst lying, thieving traitors who are actually parasiting on this country.
Yeah, basically what I assumed.
Or he's identified some real corruption in this area out here. There's no doubt about that. But he can't have the power to stand it. He doesn't have the jurisdiction or the authority, because the authority must come from these people in here. This is the national standing. That's the citizenship. And to get to be the national standing, because it's a very biblical thing and a cult system.
Well, you found something on nationalism, Australian national, didn't you? Do you want to explain what that was?
Yes, well, that was the I'll show.
Let's see. Born in Australia with at least one parent who's a citizen or permanent resident, citizen. Born in Australia without a parent who's a citizen or permanent resident, non-citizen, so apparently birthright citizenship isn't a thing in Australia. Adopted by Australian citizens under law in force in state or territory when in Australia as a permanent resident, citizen. Born overseas with a parent who is a citizen if registered child before turns 18, citizen. Receives citizenship by grant, naturalization, if permanent resident over 18, citizen. Cool.
The
non-alien, non-citizen?
Yes, to be a national, you must be...
Let's see. Australian national includes any citizen and arguably any non-alien non-citizen. So it includes anyone who resides in Australia. They're a national. They live there.
A non-citizen and a non-alien, which is out here. This is alien.
No, I mean, alien means any non-domestic. It means non-domestic, basically, in this context.
That's a citizen. So to be a national in here... you must surrender your right as a citizen and come back to here.
Like, you can be a national without being a citizen. So someone who like lives in Australia and is on some sort of visa, right? A work visa or whatever, a schooling visa, I don't know. They could be a national because they're living there legally, but they're not a citizen.
But that means that you're also a non-alien, so you're not from out here. And once you become this, when you find this standing, and this is the things that these fantastic researchers, this is the one point that they have to look at, is we cannot direct this from within here as citizens. We must stand over here. And that's why there are two birthing certificates. That's the certificate of birth, and this one is the state birth certificate.
No.
And if you're an alien, you're somewhere, your certificate comes from out of...
yes, well that could come from over somewhere else.
It's funny that it started with the other guy and now this guy's kind of taken over.
But a
little overzealous.
Problem with...
It's like me when I stream with literally anyone, I just talk over everyone because of my ADHD.
This Australia...
It's actually kind of funny. Today I went to a used Blu-ray place. Got a really great deal, by the way. I found a limited edition Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray with, like, if you've ever gotten Vinegar Syndrome, you know, they have the nice, like, special edition cases. Anyway, I picked it up. I got it for $5 after my store credit that I had from turning stuff in previously, which was nice. But anyway, I ran into someone. I didn't know them before, but we got talking about Blu-rays, and I felt like I was talking over them. I know that's an ADHD thing, but holy shit. I'm real bad at talking over people. Anyone who ever comes on this show, I apologize for talking over you. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm working on it.
this green zone that's around, it's also down here around the Antarctic too. There's some stuff that's going on down here. But what this is, this Australia here, it derives from...
Six String Samurai was the movie.
Over in the D-I-S-T-R-I-C-D of... It derives from the District of Columbia.
Oh God, you're bringing the United States into this?
So this area is not the Australian corporation owned by these people here.
The Nationals.
Australia, the Nationals. This is owned by over here, which is
private, isn't it? The
private, foreign.
Reserve.
Yeah, I mean, the system is right. It's the system's working right. This is the corporation that's formed by the government. But this country here, Australia, did not form this corporation. This corporation is a foreign corporation. I don't know what's happened. Maybe the Queen sold it out for war reparation, to pay the debts of the war to the United States. I don't know. Maybe the Queen still owns. Maybe the Queen owns the United States too. You know, that's the thing that's got to be.
Wow, that was a lot of just here's a bunch of bullshit things. I don't know which one is true, but maybe these, maybe this, maybe that. None of those are true.
Looked at, or
there's things that we can't find, isn't there?
There's some things that there's no doubt we'll find.
Why are they corporations? This is a pretty common conspiracy in different groups, both in the USA and outside of it. It's a pretty big crossover with sovereign citizen ideology, but not always. Sometimes it just finds its way into different conspiracy theories. Definitely finds its way into prepper gold bug conspiracies sometimes. They basically believe there are different camps on when they think this happened. Sometimes they think it's during or right after the Civil War. That's usually motivated by racism. Or some of them, if they're gold bugs, say that when the Fed was created, the United States became a bankrupt corporation, or the United States, the country, the republic, the democracy became bankrupt and then reverted to the United States corporation, which they think makes the United States government illegitimate, basically, because it's not on the gold standard, which of course we fully went off later, I think under Nixon, the gold and silver stuff. So yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's bullshit.
Find it in the future, but that's what's happened here, and this document from their website, the government website, explains it. And I'll put that up, the print up from the government that explains exactly what a national is and what a
citizen is.
C-I-T-I-Z-E-N is. We can be citizens, but if we become a citizen of this...
Happy Friday to you too, odd tall man.
Your citizenship to float while you're out in the...
Yes. And it's amazing that this starts at 200 and goes out to this.
Jesus Christ.
You have to understand is if we... And there are these people...
It's just interesting that this is like a 23-minute video and it basically comes down to these people trying to play a semantics game. Unfortunate. Alright. What is next?
Oh, my friends. This is Roger this morning. I never laughed so hard in my life. Strange planet. Yeah, I guess it's strange. This is just coming out.
Apparently this is a trailer for some Apple TV streaming animated show. I don't know anything about it. I don't really do Apple TV, so...
A new TV show, but I'm hoping this guy will help us show how strange the planet is. You see these things? Hold on a second. Okay, so do we live on a strange planet? Yeah, I say we do. Were there creatures like that around one time?
Look at this rock. I think it looks like the animated thing, so it must be real.
Could have been. Could have been.
It could not have been.
Or were there other big creatures around? Gigantic?
No, that's a rock that looks like it's been carved, or it's photo edited. I can't tell which.
Things, yep, could have been. I believe that's on Easter Island. They could have been here, many, many, many of them. This was some, I think this was in Peru or Bolivia. This is the car at the time, and that's the face.
Again, that's a carving, if that's a real photo. It's just interesting to me that Roger seems to think that no human has ever created a statue or depiction of a head, ever. Like, no, that's a thing people made. People sculpt things. It's not a human head. It's not a giant head. Giant's on the bingo card, by the way.
And that was blown off by the rebels when they were doing cannon practice. This right here, a friend of mine has. And that, I'm telling you right now, that is real.
No, that's stone.
These different colorations, when it gets wet, you can see very, very clearly the details around the eyes and the different tissues.
Yeah.
And in the back of the head, it's cracked in, and it was a red-blooded creature. This is the back of Kim's.
That's oxidized. It's basically rust. It's not blood.
Naga head, and it's cracked right there. That's red blood running out of there.
Nope. No, it's not.
And I'm sure this could be looked at. Because you could drill into these. Inside is a whole...
And it'll be a rock.
Whole different situation than the outside.
No, it's a rock.
And that was Kim's head. I mean, I looked at this thing.
Oh, someone got bingo? Who got bingo? Medicated person? Let's see. Hannah flirts with Baja. Giants, transphobia. Hannah mentions Blu-rays. Gay agenda. You did it. Medicated person, you've done it. Congrats. You win the gift sub. Let me see. Do you already have a sub? You do. I shall write your name down on the special list of winners who win. Give me 1 sec to do that. I always forget to open this list before stream. I really should. It'd be convenient. Cool. So that is the bingo winner for today. We can still play for fun, but someone has won. Congrats, medicated person. Oops, that's the wrong video. Where did Roger go?
Very, very carefully. I haven't had it in my hands, but I didn't need to. And I found the blood vessels in the... Here's the throat right here. There's the throat.
Ah!
Here's the chin.
That doesn't even look like that in a pareidolia kind of way.
There's the throat, and there's the tongue coming up into the throat. These are the vertebra in the back of the neck. And the vein and artery we found as well. So this is not something that's silly. Where's the vein and artery? I have here somewhere.
It's not something that's silly, guys. Roger said it, so don't laugh at him.
Well, anyway, it had red blood, and it had a vein and an artery. Oh, here it is right here. A little dark, but you see the red coming out of the artery, and that's the black of the vein. That's on the bottom of Kim's head. Now, so I'm getting stuff people sending me from all over the world. Now, we think this might be what it was a naga. That's called a white naga.
What? It's a statue of like a snake thing, of a mythical creature.
And that's the closest.
What do I think of the 4K Universal Monsters set? Is this... Which ones is this? Just Dracula, Frankenstein, Mummy, Invisible Man? I mean, some people like these kind of large format Blu-ray things that are with the booklets. They did Criterion did a Godzilla set like this. It's not for me. Let me put it that way. Certainly not for me. I don't like things that don't fit on a shelf.
As I can find. It has that crown around the edge, and well, she has the same thing, a crown around here, and then little holes all around that crown. These are kind of blurry pictures, but there was a whole set of little pock marks around the crown. Very strange looking creature. And the head is cut flat as a pancake off. This one's just sheared off. Now that one's gone. I have no contact with that anymore at all. This one, I know we can get access to that. There's this kind of thing. I don't know what the hell that is. That's pretty close to Kim's head too. Only, I don't know about the back. Anyway, where these came from, you know, I'm just getting things from people that are upset that nobody will talk to them. Look at this. The hell is that? It looks like a camel head or something. Oh, look at the fangs on that thing. How'd you like to get bit by that? And I don't know if this is real or not. This could not. I had no contact.
It's some kind of carving, but no, it was never alive.
This at all, and I'm seeing these little stripy looking things. I don't know if that's right or wrong. This I would have to see. I'd have to be able to see the vein in the artery coming up from below. That was back from 2010. Now somebody sent me that. I don't know where it came from.
What does he think of, like, Renaissance era, like, or what does he think of, like, classical sculptures? Or, like, if we're going later again, like Renaissance, like if we're talking about Michelangelo's David, like what does he think of these hyper-realistic 3D depictions of the human form? I've never heard him talk about these. I'm assuming he recognizes these as statues, but for some reason this kind of thing, he's just like, no, humans didn't carve this.
To be honest with you, I don't have a contact with a lot of these. I don't know where this came from. Somebody sent me that. That could be fake. I don't know. But I know the ones I have in my own hands, they're not fake. And this one is absolutely not fake. That is blood coming out of Kim's Naga head. And there's the Naga head right there. Now, this was another one somebody sent me from New Jersey. And they found this Egyptian-looking long-headed skull, and it was down like this. This part was in the dirt, obviously, and more. It looks to me like it might have died where it was found, because I believe this is blood. This is not just wet. Two different textures. This side was down. This side here was down in the mud and retained some of the blood. That's my interpretation from looking at here. And they found it in an outbuilding of a 300-year-old farmhouse under the foundation. This is in New Jersey. And again, nobody talked to any of these people. And they get frustrated. I don't blame them. I'm frustrated as hell after 10, 12 years now of having, and I have DNA tests and CAT scans and all that stuff.
He sent in parts of a rock for DNA scans, and it came back as human, most likely because he literally got his own fucking human DNA on the rock by touching it a bunch, and then sent it in. And the only instructions were like, do a DNA test on this, and of course they're like, okay, swab the surface or whatever, get some of his human DNA. But he's like, no, that rock came back as human. No, that was your DNA, Roger.
So if nobody looks at this stuff, this is where we live, on a very strange planet.
Like, that's what's weird to me. Like, even if it was a fossil, fossils don't have DNA. Like, fossils aren't the thing. Fossils are basically a mold of the thing that's created by the organic material being replaced by inorganic material. Like, it's not literally the thing just turned to stone like Medusa looked at him. Am I saying he's a rock? Yes, clearly, he is a rock. This is the other rock guy. This is the guy who thinks he keeps finding gold, even though it's fool's gold.
Good afternoon, you guys. You're watching Eyes to See. Today is August 10th, Thursday. And I don't know if you guys have looked up lately, but there is something going on with the sky.
That video had nothing to do with the show. What are you talking about? It was a conspiracy. Oh, you mean like the show he was talking about? Because he thought some of the rocks were alien heads. He thought it was like predictive programming.
And I want to mention a quote real quick.
I missed it. What did
Thursday,
he say?
And I don't know if you guys have looked up lately, but there is something going on with the sky. And I want to mention a quote real quick. Mark Twain has a quote that says, "You can't depend on your eyes when your imagination is out of focus." It says here on Google that this quote highlights the idea that your eyes are fallible. They'll see what they want to see.
Oh, the irony. The unfortunate irony. Hypocrisy on the bingo card.
If you want to see something, you'll see it, even if it's not already there. Well, that's an interesting little spin they put on that. That definition is rather difficult to comprehend as I was reading it. They'll see what they want to see. So if you want to see something, you'll see it, even if it's not already there. That's a weird sentence. That's a weird way to put it. The way I see it is that you'll see, if you want to see something, you'll see it, even if something else is there.
Sure, that's basically the same thing that is the quote, but sure.
Meaning, this world is not what you think it is.
And got so far, and in the end, it doesn't even matter.
There are things that are visible to those with the eyes to see, and some people who don't have the imagination to imagine that things may not be what they appear.
I think a lot of people are pretty open, like myself, to like, oh, I can be wrong about whatever, you know? I'm fallible like everyone. I don't think that the things that I believe today are all objectively true. Like, there are things that I have, like, very, like I'm pretty confident about, but, like, I always understand that, like, everything I believe is subject to new evidence. The problem is, you think that people not believing the things you believe is automatically delusion, which isn't good, especially considering you think that the rocks in your backyard are dragons, which we've seen in a previous video by him.
Won't ever see
serpents, whatever.
The evidence to the contrary. And it's going on all around us, folks. The evidence is peeking through. The evidence is trying to get to you. And if you've got your blinders on, if you don't want to see it, if your imaginary world that is full of illusions, if that is real to you and if that is working for you, if things are going well for you, if you're king of the hill, so to speak, you may not be prone to see evidence to the contrary, because it can be...
This is actually funny, because he's kind of doing the flip side of a reality, and that is desperate people. Don't get me wrong, I think this guy has a lot of stuff going on. But I think part of the uptick in conspiracy stuff is not only just due to the fact that, of course, the internet has created echo chambers that allow individual people who believe in quite bizarre things to form communities that insulate themselves from criticism, almost like pseudo mini cults on the internet. That's certainly a part of it. But also, people who are desperate, people who don't have a lot of resources, people whose lives are materially, like, bad, and they desperately need resources, they feel like they're being fucked over, those people tend to, and as I've said many times, we are all susceptible to conspiratorial thinking. Do not think you're immune to this. But people become more open to these things when they're desperate, right? So unfortunately, this might be a case of like... It seems like he's saying if things are going well for you, you don't have an open mind, when I would say when things are going bad for you, your mind will become, unfortunately, more susceptible to manipulation. Which is true.
Obviously, it can be troubling. It can be scary. But we've got to face the truth. You've got to seek truth. Well, I won't tell you what you need to do, but I know for me, I am being called to chase truth, no matter what, no matter where it takes me. Because I'm not going to be weighed down in this world. I'm not going to be weighed down by illusions. I believe the illusions of this world creates a heavy heart. If you're living a lie, you may not be able to ascend when the time comes to be called up. I don't know. I just know that seeking truth, it's a freeing feeling. And that brings me to the video that I want to show you today, which is some video I took the other night, and it's one of many different times that I have captured the unbelievable. Something is going on with our sky. I don't know if you have noticed, but let's take a look, shall we? So there's nothing wrong with the camera here.
Might be user error. This is a common trope too lately. Lots of people, whether it's chemtrails or some other conspiracy theory, whether it's aliens or whatever, something's different about the sky. It's a pretty common conspiratorial trope these days.
I'm filming the clouds. You can see it's quite blurry.
Has anyone told these people the story of Chicken Little?
These clouds do not look right. Interestingly, the camera won't focus on the clouds. No matter how much I tap on the screen, it won't focus, and it looks like there's...
Doesn't understand how cameras work on the bingo card. Yeah, you're in the super dark, and the clouds are far away and also dark. Like, it can't focus because it doesn't know how far away it is even when you tap. When you tap, the phone still has to determine how far away is this thing. It can't determine details that far away, especially when it's this dark. Like, do you see the graininess of this photo? Graininess happens much more often in dark environments, right? It's noise that's being picked up because in order to see in the dark, the camera has to turn its sensors up, so you get a lot of noise, right?
There's something behind the clouds. Look at these dark spots. And trying to figure out what is causing this, I haven't been able to figure it out yet.
The clouds aren't just flat. They have different depths, and they're, you know, they're fluid, right? Not liquid. They are fluid, though, because clouds are like, you know, water vapor with other stuff. They're not just like flat things or smooth. There's different depths in different parts, so it's going to have different levels of light coming through. Yeah, this one is sad.
Until now. Zoom out.
Let's move on until he makes a less depressing video. Jesus. Do you think grass was fake? I actually don't remember if that was him.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. CC here, Chris. From New York, Westchester County. It's 8/11/23. How is everyone today? That's good. Today's a Friday. I like to put a video out and give you something to think about for Friday. I'm just unable to put a video out for the weekend. And
how old is he? I think he's in his 50s.
Well, let's get right into it.
Like early 50s, maybe late 40s.
Shall we? Okay. So, actually, a quick question. I'm kind of
recording in car on the bingo card. Like I said, someone already won, but if you want to play for fun, recording in car.
Confused. Yeah, that's right. I am. You know, I'm a little confused of exactly what's going on with Earth.
Yep.
And how storms come in. Okay. You see, what is moving? Is it the clouds that are moving at 1,000 miles per hour, or is it Earth that's moving 1,000 miles per hour?
Okay, this is gonna, I assume, be about the fact that he doesn't understand the fact that the Earth can rotate and the atmosphere also moves around the Earth with it. But even within the atmosphere, you can have, like, air currents and different things, like the jet stream, for instance. Like, meteorology is an entire field of study, right? Like, it's not a simple thing. It's kind of like the oceans, right? Like, the oceans are a body of water, and of course the entire ocean is moving along with the Earth as it rotates, but on top of that, it also has its own currents within it, right? It's not one or the other. Both are true. Motion is relative. Hydrate. Will do. Real quick, I'm gonna get some water. Don't go anywhere. I'm not gonna put anything on. Chair will keep you company. Be good. Behave. Why did you guys burn down the chat? I explicitly told you not to. Cloud Wizard says, chair stream. The chair stream is over. We now go back to me sitting on the chair. I am now in the chair. Alright.
Because I was told that Earth...
Chair anthem? Oh, God.
Look at those sick moves. Let's never seen a chair like that one, huh? That's streamer on Twitch.
Nice.
Is moving at 1,000 miles per hour. Yeah.
I mean, linearly, yes. But you're talking about rotational velocity, which doesn't matter anyway, because you don't feel speed. Speed isn't absolute. It's relative, right? So, like, when you're talking about it spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, one rotation a day, 15 degrees per hour, however you want to talk about it, we're moving at a consistent speed, so you don't feel it.
That's right.
Why am I topping the chair? I might be a bottom. I might be a sub. But this chair, you wouldn't believe the things this chair is into. It's disgusting.
Right. Which means the clouds have to be moving 1,044 miles per hour.
The entire atmosphere is moving with the Earth. Yeah.
I don't see how that's possible. And how could you predict a storm that's going that fast with Earth going that fast and spinning?
Again, these are consistent speeds, so it's like they're not moving at all, to each other at least. Again, it's relative.
I don't know.
To us, they're standing still other than the currents within them, because again, we're all on the Earth. The Earth is the frame of reference here that you're using.
Understand how the meteorologist works this. I really don't.
Man, maybe you should just be able to assume that you don't know something, but there's an entire field of study dedicated to it with like peer review and PhDs, and you should go, oh, it's just a field I don't understand. Maybe I'm not the smartest person in the world who knows everything about everything.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay. A lot of things don't make sense to a lot of people. It doesn't make them not true. I didn't understand calculus. Doesn't mean it's not true.
I'm a little confused, okay? Because when a storm comes from California and it goes across the U.S. into New York,
Yes, things move within the atmosphere, because once again, the atmosphere is fluid. So as a whole, it can be kind of moving one way, but within it, there can be motion, you know, of the gases within the atmosphere and the atmospheric conditions.
New York, that's 3,000 miles. Okay? Yeah, that's right. It's about 3,000 miles. Change. Whatever. And it takes 4 or 5 days to traverse right across the country. Shouldn't...
Can a storm from California go across the U.S.? Aren't there mountains in the way? For me, I don't normally... I'm not in New York. I'm in Michigan. So when we get storms, usually it's coming either from the bottom or the top. Sometimes it'll come from the side, but I don't know where it originated. Like, typically, though, north or south, especially during the winter, sometimes we'll get some really bad northern, like, blizzard stuff.
That storm be in maybe somewhere like Brazil? Somewhere over there? You know, I'm a little confused. Do you see? Do you see? Do you see the weatherman's telling me that a storm's coming in 3 days before when it's all the way over in Nevada?
Okay.
Okay? And he knows it's going to hit straight into New York. That makes no fucking sense.
And yet, they're able to predict it within a pretty decent margin of error. So clearly they're right, Chris. Clearly they're right.
All to me. And if it makes sense to you, well then you're done.
I'd rather be done than dumb.
Finish. If you don't merely just look at the weather itself and say to yourself, how the fuck is this possible? It's not.
You can look into how weather works, Chris. There's, I think, a couple Magic School Bus episodes about it. I remember one about the water cycle. I think there was one specifically about weather. There's probably a Bill Nye for this. I don't remember if Beekman's World covered this.
Because we're not moving, we're stationary, and that's why we're able to predict fucking storms. That's it. Bottom line. That's all.
No.
End of fucking spinning wet ball, as far as I'm concerned. Okay? Because there's no Coriolis effect. Nobody takes into account when they're building anything about any curvature at all whatsoever.
Yes, they do. If something's big enough, especially something like a huge bridge, they absolutely do, you psycho. DM Trey says you can't really have storms going that way that long because the Earth is rotating the other way. Like the Mackinac Bridge in Michigan. Pretty sure they took it into account. It's a long-ass bridge.
Not a single architect does. Nobody.
I like that he just says stuff. That's a fun thing about conspiracy theorists. He feels it deeply, so it must be true.
It's sad. It's sad that people don't see this. No matter how high you go up in the sky, the horizon follows you all the way.
Maps and Mimic says, hi, engineer here. Civil engineers absolutely take into account the curve of the Earth. Have you considered that Chris doesn't understand it, though, so that means it's not true? His incredulity proves you wrong!
No matter how high. And you can't get up to a certain height because there's a freaking dome up there or some sort of thing.
No, you can go as high as whatever air vehicle will take you if you know how to fly it.
Not sure.
People have been to space, Chris. People are in space right now.
All we know is we can't escape. Could be like
dark.
Like a jigsaw puzzle, you know? That's what I've heard. I've heard people's theory about that, where at a certain time of year, if you get down to Antarctica and bypass all the treaties that have been passed, you know, that they've passed with every country out there, that you can't build anything out there, you can't go fuck around down there, unless if you're chaperoned, you can't do this. It's the only treaty that every country agrees on.
I would imagine if it ever becomes feasible to go to the South Pole and set up, like, large bases there in order to, like, either have military situations or oil, they would probably do it. But it's not really feasible, so everyone just kind of agrees, let's not fight over this. This is just going to hurt everyone. So basically it's just like scientists down there. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, what's particularly funny about this rant is that a lot of what drives the weather is the Coriolis effect. He doesn't believe it, though, because he doesn't understand it.
And that's why World War will never come about. It can't. There's only one thing we all agree on. Don't go the fuck down to Antarctica. It's pathetic. And they buy it. They buy it. They say, yeah, no, it's cold down there anyway. I don't want to go down there. Bullshit! I can't tell you how many times I see pictures of things growing in the snow. Bullshit, because there's more land.
What?
It's like a jigsaw puzzle. Certain time of year you can get through it. You know, you can probably traverse right through it if you can walk it. If you can.
Do you mean in Antarctica you think you're seeing things growing in the snow? Or do you mean like in New York when it snows there's plants under it? Because, yeah, in New York or like here in Michigan we have seasonal plants. Sometimes there are things like evergreens that'll last, but like there are plants that stay alive during the winter and then come back in the summer. But in Antarctica, it's a desert basically. It's a frozen wasteland desert.
Got enough material, if you got enough food, you got enough water, whatever it may be. I don't know. It could be 1,000 miles when you get down to Antarctica to get to the ice wall. You know, not ice wall, but to the dome. You know, could be
like even the stuff that lives there. South Pole's penguins, I think. Penguins like eat fish and stuff. Like they don't eat plants, to my knowledge. The ones at the South Pole, at least, they eat like fish, and they get eaten by like seals or killer whales or something.
That could be 100 miles, could be 500 miles, could be 600 miles. It took somebody 30 years to figure it out, though. Or did they find it many decades prior? They were just fucking around with it. Who knows? All I know is they ran out of there like a bat out of hell when they found something. And then all of a sudden everything was shut down. And NASA was mysteriously created right around the same time. That's interesting. So how do you control billions of people? Well, you control the sky. Okay? That's one thing. Got to control the sky. You can't have somebody in their house build a rocket and go up and launch off from their backyard. No, you can't do.
I mean, people literally can't do that because it's technologically not feasible. Like, there's a reason that rocket scientist is used as a sort of stand-in for a really smart person. Rocket science is, like, difficult and expensive. And it's like NASA, when they built, like, the first rockets, like, in America, it's not like they were like, hey, one person designed this. Teams of people worked together and there was a lot of testing and it cost tons of money. For someone to build a rocket in their backyard, they're not going to go to space. They can't get that high. They die. Like, even that guy that was an amateur rocket guy, Mad Mike, he died. He died in one of his rockets. Because, yeah, it turns out rocketry's hard.
Do that. No, you got to control the sky. You got to militarize it. And you got to militarize the ground. And keep people out. All right? That's what you got to do. Keep everybody locked up in this little circle that we live in.
Sorry, Chan, I'm looking at something real quick. Baja's ordering dinner and I'm...
Of hell, basically, and that's what they've created. You know, when you get out of this circle, you go to Antarctica, it's probably so peaceful out there. It's so nice, no TV, no telephone, no nothing. Just silence and beauty. They say the dome is made out of something and they've called it sky ice.
Who says that? Who calls it sky ice? That doesn't make any sense. You can't just cite things. You can't just be like, someone said it.
They can't prove it.
You can't prove it. Genius.
We've seen pictures. We don't know if they're real or not. Who knows? That makes sense. It does. That the creator would create something that we can't test. And it's light as a feather. But it's a barricade too. It makes perfectly good sense to me, you know. All of it does. And once it clicks, and you know, that's when you find out the truth. Unfortunately, most people haven't. They'll just sit there thinking that they live on a spinning wet ball, thinking that the government...
Okay. Here's what I want. Baha, are you still listening to the stream? If so, I'm going to add the thing I want using my app, and it should also show up on yours, because we're using the same login. Just got to customize it.
Government is the way that it is. Thinking they live on this happy-go-lucky little spinning wet ball, floating in space, with unimaginable light that's coming from trillions of miles away that they could see. Now, that doesn't make any sense at all to me. I mean, in the beginning, it never did. Now you can see, you know, all of a sudden the light disappears when it goes away 5 blocks. But yet, you can see a star.
Stars are huge. Stars are big. Big thing far away, easier to see than small thing relatively close.
Trillions of miles away. Yes, you can. Now just get the perspective of how large the sun is. Put the sun 10 light years away. Put it 20 light years away.
Oh, Baha, wait. No, that got added before. I didn't add the chicken strips thing. I'm doing a burger, which I'm customizing right now.
Put it 50 light years away. Hey, fuck it. Put it 100 light years away. It'll fucking disappear. You won't
Yeah, if it was really tiny. Stars are bigger than your flashlight, sir.
be able to see it. That's why stars don't exist, not the way you know them.
Stars don't exist. Holographic fake sun, stars, moon on the bingo card.
Lights. It's an amazing light show up there. Comets. Another amazing light show. Anything could be done. Look at the big thousands of screens down in Nevada. Or not down in Nevada. You know what I'm talking about. In Nevada. Look at that. You know, it's right at the center of the strip. You know, that's there. It's incredible. It really is. I've never been there. I don't know. Maybe I'll go there one day and visit and see this enormous thing to re-indoctrinate yourself, so you can sit there in awe and say, you know, we live on that. And then they'll put a picture. All it is a big freaking screensaver. That's all it is. They can put whatever the fuck they want on it.
Wow, he's really freaking out.
Why they put an eyeball on there is kind of...
He does look more disheveled than normal. I've said this for a while. I think he's just continually going to have a worse and worse time. I think he's like... I think he's degrading. I don't think it's good. Add item. What? Why? See if it works now. Item not found. I hate it.
That's freaky. I don't like that. Things gross me. But it's just there to keep the indoctrination going. Spent $2.2 billion on that project down in Las Vegas, or in Las Vegas. Why? Why would somebody spend that kind of money? You know, thousands, millions. I think it's 1 million LC.
New York is changing some laws to make it easier to hospitalize people. CC's days may be coming to an end. I don't think he's that far gone yet, or he's gonna get like, you know, involuntarily committed.
Anyway, but that's to keep the indoctrination going. That's to keep the sleepers, hi, sleeper, over there, still asleep. Okay? That's why they think that this government is real.
Sorry, I'm looking at the
It's a
card.
joke. There's nobody running this country. I think the
No, people are running the country.
Clintons are running.
Yeah, I'm sorry, chat. I'm getting so distracted by the app not working. I apologize for not giving you attention.
Obama's probably running it.
Oh my god, racist white guys are still so insecure about Obama years later. This is so fucking insane. Ugh. I'm so, like, they're just genuinely so scared of a non-white person having power. They're like, oh my god, he must secretly be in charge. No, he's not, you fucking idiot. Get over yourself and your fucking bullshit.
The people that think are really running it, but this puppet he can't even speak. I mean, I have never seen a president like this before in my life.
Did you hear Trump?
And I never really paid attention, but all I know is they could all speak. This guy can't even put 2 sentences together. And if you think that's real, okay, that he isn't put there specifically to make your life fucking miserable and everybody else's life miserable, and let some other people run the country that nobody knows who's running it. See, it's just like who's running the world, who's in control of the money. You know, these people never want to be found, okay? All right? Money doesn't exist. It's bullshit.
It's a social construct, but it does exist. Money absolutely exists. Money is the primary force in our life that contributes to whether it's good or bad in terms of material conditions. Money is real, it's just also a social construct. They're not mutually exclusive.
What that is slavery. And that's all it is. Alright, so I want you to think about all those things for the weekend. Be safe. I thank you for subbing. I said thank you for viewing my videos. I'm going to be a part of your life.
Jesus Christ, Chris. What was this one?
You are about to find out
God.
that your entire
Oh my
life
God.
has been a programmed process, and those processes were created and methodically implemented into you decades after decades as a system, so that it makes you unconsciously believe that the system...
This is one of those droning videos that's like meant to like yikerinos. Yeah, I hate these.
The only real true reality you will ever know until you step back from your life's drama and become the aware observer of your reality. Everything you've ever known from the day you were born until the day you die is all the outcome of the system, and all of your life events are just roles you play that keep you unknowingly trapped here, providing food, sex, slavery, and souls.
Oh god, they did the taxation as slavery thing. Holy shit.
For the reincarnation for your controllers. So isolated and deeply programmed that we can't even tell what is real anymore. As you physically age, you also know that inside you haven't aged past the day when you became aware of yourself as being physically alive.
What the fuck does that even mean?
There
are people who think they channel aliens. Oh yeah. I've covered people like that. I will save this though. Thank you.
Identify yourself as being only the physical body, and you are bound.
They live is on the bingo card, yes.
By those limits. You live in a world which was carefully programmed so that each time you lived the life cycle, you became more and more unaware, and you never once stopped to ask yourself, how did I get here? Where did I come from? Or why am I here?
Yeah, the audio on that is quite bad.
Many times before, how seemingly separate, unrelated events, institutions, and ideas are actually all part of the same invisible global government, which seeks to manipulate public opinion through innumerable strategies of social engineering and psychological warfare. This shadow network of people with staggering multi-generational wealth occupying positions of power have, for decades, persistently attacked and debased us.
So wealthy people, so you think that the distribution of wealth in the world is to a point where it is damaging to the majority of people. How about we stop there? Let's stop there and be like, hey, what do we do about this economic situation? Unfortunately, I'm gonna imagine this is gonna go elsewhere.
Psychologically, spiritually, socially, and physically. We have volumes of evidence proving beyond doubt that such an alliance exists, and we know who is behind it. We know the methods they use and have used for decades, if not centuries, and we have them in their own words, telling us their plans for us. The societal diseases we can currently diagnose have been in manufactured metastasis for years. In medicine, the study of iatrogenesis refers to the adverse effects caused not by illness, but by the interventions employed in the treatment of illness. None of this is accidental. What we are witnessing is the end result of the iatrogenic death of Western civilization.
Oh, I gotta put Western civilization on the new bingo card.
It is no wonder that in such a reality we often see the
Britney Spears. Wow, that's a really up-to-date pop cultural reference.
Social and cultural landscape altered suddenly,
9/11 out of nowhere.
dramatically, and far from being the organic groundswell it may seem to be, what we are really experiencing is careful.
Do I have a moment for Elon Musk being violently weird? Oh god. Zuckerberg says, I love this sport and I've been ready to fight since the day Elon challenged me. If he ever agrees on an actual date, you'll hear it from me. Until then, please assume everything he says has not been agreed on. Elon says, if Zuck my tongue really wants a lesson in why there are weight categories and fights so badly, I could just head over to his house next week and teach him a lesson he won't soon forget. Oh my god. One of the richest people in the world is verbally threatening one of the other richest people in the world. What the fuck is life? Holy shit. No one has ever needed to go outside and stop using Twitter more than the current owner of Twitter.
crafted conditioning by the cadre of international capital. In 1947, these forces set forth several organizations and institutions for the purposes of mass opinion engineering. It was in this 1 year alone when the Kinsey Institute was founded in April.
Oh my god.
The CIA and the Tavistock Institute were founded within 2 days of each other in September. All three organizations were covered in Rothschild and Rockefeller fingerprints, armed with Bernaysian propaganda weaponized against us, and would proceed for the next 73 years to declare war on Western civilization on countless offensive fronts.
Wait, Barbie? You think Barbie is evil? What the fuck?
Though seemingly separate organizations with seemingly unrelated ideas, they all have one thing in common aside from their origin, of course. And that is, simply stated, mind control. Mass social engineering.
Population control on the bingo card.
Meant to mold the minds of men to suit their evil intentions. Most people think that brainwashing is something that could only be administered by madmen in a POW camp or in underground laboratories like in Clockwork Orange. And there's a reason we have such images in our minds. And that reason is brainwashing.
Literally in Clockwork Orange, in the end, isn't it implied that it didn't take anyway?
Most people seem to live their whole lives in near total obliviousness to the ways in which their thoughts and actions are governed by this illusory entity. And as I've said before, the worst prisons are the ones where the inmates can't even see the bars. I used to wonder why everything always seems so strangely similar. Everywhere you go, it's the same TGI Fridays next to a CVS farm.
Again, capitalism. Holy fucking shit, it's always capitalism.
See?
Wait a minute. It feels like all of the local flavor's been destroyed by giant corporations coming in and giving us bland, mass-produced frozen food in restaurants instead of local places. Is this capitalism? No, it must be secret demonic organizations.
Next to a GameStop, next to a Target with a Starbucks inside. Across the street from a Walmart with a McDonald's inside. Why all our modern homes and our apartment buildings look the same. Our neighborhoods, our city centers, our skyscrapers. Why the same political parties all spout the same empty rhetoric that gets repeated with rallying regularity. Why all the movies are remakes and reboots of the same old tired tropes. Why every school book sells us the same sanitized story of history.
That was a shot from the Tim Burton Planet of the Apes movie. That movie was terrible.
Forms of self-expression.
Good ape costumes, though.
are such familiar facsimiles. Why modern music is the same formulaic, mumbled mishmash, written by the same small group of people. Why there are so many people who seem as they're just central casting stock.
Again, literally, it's just all listing things he doesn't like about our economic, political, and social systems. It's not a conspiracy, you just don't like the systems that we exist in.
Characters, each playing the role of the hero in their own movie. The same people picking and choosing character traits of their favorite media personas to assemble a carefully crafted pseudo-personality.
You guys all pretend you're Neo, and you don't even understand that movie.
Why all these news reporters and media personalities that completely contrived pseudo-events and phony issues of concern are...
Yikerinos. Okay, I've had enough conspiracies for the day. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I appreciate it. Let's see who we're gonna rate. We haven't rated Cirrus in a while. I hope you all have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys soon. Remember, Sunday is the patron-only live show if you're interested in that. Which you should be. We're going to be doing Jackbox games. It'll be fun. Is that thunder or did something fall? Alright, I'll see you guys soon. Have a wonderful evening. And, see you guys soon. You're all cool, as far as I'm concerned. Oh wait, did the raid not work? Hold on. Why did that not work? Oh, there we go. Worked that time. That was weird. Did I spell raid wrong the first time or something? No? Okay, weird. Alright, later guys. Have a good night.